Welcome, everybody, to Tuesday night. I'm Ken Marangolo on behalf of First Amendment Sports. This is, thank God, it's Tuesday. He's Tim Strachan.
It's a little weird without music now on the intro.
I'm still in training. And we don't deserve music.
It's a little weird.
Because I
What's
can't
up, y'all?
obviously play it successfully. He's Kevin Ricka.
And I'm happy to be here. Thank
there
you.
you go. There
Yes.
you go. You sound awesome.
I was also in training. Sorry.
Still
Been training.
You're still scarred for my entry to the studio table today.
Ew, please.
Speaking of training,
Little mushroom
Commanders are
scar.
still in training.
Never hurt anybody. Thank God it's Tuesday. Y'all appreciate Manner speaking. He basically called in. He got some PTO. He's this has been approved. Manner speaking's not here tonight, but he was the first one to comment to tell us he wouldn't be here. Ken Harris, what's up? Ken Harris played the host on Saturday at Bishop McNamara. It was
I
awesome.
missed it. I was sad to miss it.
It was so awesome.
I might have
always
had
is.
4 fish sandwiches just
only
for the
had
record.
You know, why don't you eat shit, man?
Like 2 of them were.
Come at me with 4 right away off the
It
top
was-
start of the show. After
got one right in.
You dragged Charlie right across the love handle and then hit me with 4 fish sandwiches.
I did.
That's
It was
a
like
terrible
the
start to the
elephant
show.
that you put a paintbrush in his trunk and he just does this.
No, it was the dolphin going.
It was. Ken Harris, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Congratulations to the Bishop McNamara Mustangs on their homecoming victory over Archbishop
right.
Carroll. It's fun.
It's a fun place to watch a football game.
Oh, they're all
Hell
fun.
yeah.
But it's good to get around.
people, good atmosphere, great tailgating, the whole bit.
I was thinking about you, NES class of '94. There was I don't recall seeing any of their '94 guys. Oh, that's not true. I saw Mike Anderson and maybe there was a couple other guys. But anyways,
Ken Harris just wrote, "Did you remember to give me my fish sandwich?"
so here's the deal with that.
So
You
yeah,
sons
it was
of-
going to be so cold and
It was gonna be so
Like,
cold.
when was I going to get it to you?
Next time, let's use our words to communicate properly amongst the 3 of us. I like them cold.
I made an
I like them.
executive decision.
I bet you did. I bet you I know what happened on the 495
I'm
ride
sorry,
home.
Ken. I did lie right to your face. I said, "Oh yeah, I'll get it to him."
She was like, "Make
Son.
sure you get this." It's like I was like a 5-year-old when they're like, "Make sure your little brother gets this extra ice cream cone," and you're like, "Of course he will. Why wouldn't he get the extra ice cream
You guys,
cone?"
that's a line you cross you can't come back from.
But I mean, it was
The fish sandwich.
It was the fish sandwich.
At McNamara.
They fired up the grease right after we got there. We got the first batch out of it. It was awesome. NES, I'll throw this up there because I think the boys can appreciate it. Why can't we comment during the games? Well, let me just tell you, high school sports are not the streams that comments belong on.
Yeah, so I couldn't have been like, "Where is my bleepity fish sandwich?" Yeah. It would have been distracting, but I might have gotten my hands wrapped around the
to
fish
remain
sandwich.
positive, I think.
Yes, it is. Keeping it positive. You know, there's a lot of stuff that go. You know, we had one. I remember famously one game we were at Riken. It was St. John's versus somebody, and maybe it was St. John's Good Counsel or whatever. And a couple of former players started yapping on the comment thing, and we were like, you know what? And we forgot to turn it off. I forgot to turn it off. So that's why. It's one thing with there's 3 dudes in a basement chugging whiskey. Obviously, you got to be able to comment. But high school sports will let the kids action on the field do the talking.
And also, we came out of the gate, so we were brand new to it. So, some of those first comments were a little unsavory. But you know what? We took it on the chin. We kept on going.
That's right.
We knew Tuesday was right around the corner.
And Ken, make sure we talk about some upcoming McNamara home games. But the home team at FedEx was not home this weekend. There was a game on Sunday, and let's just get right into it. It was a loss. We lost in overtime. Sorry. Spoiler alert. We lost 34-31. How about opening thought was, I was thinking is, you get waxed by the Buffalo Bills, one of the best teams in the league, the week prior, and you say, how are they going to come back from that? The answer was awesome. It was a good answer.
Yeah.
There's no moral victories, but I liked the answer. I'll turn it over to you guys for some opening thoughts.
Go ahead, T.
No, I totally agree. I think you put it great. You can't talk about what this loss means without talking about what happened last week with the Bills, right? The growth of Sam Howell, specifically, the growth of the team, and the fact that they took one of the best teams down, to overtime, showed, hey, we got, this team's still got it. And I think if anybody's doubting Sam Howell right now, They shouldn't, because he's not Zach Wilson. He's not Justin Fields. He's not that guy who hasn't shown he has the ability to grow from making mistakes. Those games are going to happen, but he didn't let it happen again. And that's the killer for a quarterback in this league, is if they can't make those adjustments, and he certainly did.
And the Bills went ahead and threw that cold blanket on Miami's hot-ass offense.
Yes.
And like we said, no moral anything, but we got a better perspective of the team that whipped our ass 2 weeks back. It's 16-0. We have the ball in the red zone before we chucked that pick in there and, threw a bunch more. So I'm just saying, it gave me a much better feeling of where we are as a team. Forget about any other team. Us, ourselves, on the road, in division, go to the defending NFC East champs in maybe the most hostile territory we go into.
Yeah, every year.
And our dudes played tough as shit. Didn't get any wins, just got a loss. I know that. I'm fine with that. It was a very enjoyable way to watch our team, the style of football we played. I never once felt like, oh, we're hanging on by a thread or we could knock them off. I was like, we're just as effing good as they are, and we're competing at that same exact level at their place.
Stood toe to toe.
I love how we responded.
It was a great answer. The how many times have we watched the team in years past, and we might score on the opening drive, which we often haven't. We might even get a few touchdowns and be up 14-7. But you're watching it and you're thinking, how do we? I don't know if Taylor Heineke can go toe to toe with Jalen Hurts, or I don't know if we're going to be able to. I don't know how we even got those 14 points. If you look at what we were efficient. We got it done a variety of ways, a variety of players. I think the stats will show that when we start talking about that. And more than anything else, it was like they didn't look like they were overmatched, and they weren't the team that got boat raced the previous week, but
not
in any stretch.
But they were. I felt like they were a step behind. Still, they weren't quite there. They went blow to blow. They stood up to them, but it just felt like the Eagles had something a little bit extra. In my opinion, they're not quite there yet.
Well, we didn't win.
No.
Right.
I didn't expect them to win this game.
I know, but still,
losing this game the whole way.
I mean,
but I didn't know that they're going to play it that tough.
How about this? I would love to just go back with you guys and just trade bright spots. But the touchdown pass to Jahan Dotson to tie the game, essentially, in all for all intents and purposes, at the end of that drive, which was an awesome drive. But that play, when you had to have it and it had to be perfect, the execution was there. Obviously, Jahan did his job, and he missed at least one important ball earlier in the game. But
he was targeted 10 times. He had 4 receptions. It was a tough day for Jahan Dotson, but
that was everything. That touchdown to me was everything. It was awesome by Hal. Perfect execution. Jahan Dotson did his job, perfectly. But that again, there was plenty of real bright spots in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you jumped all the way to the last play.
I know.
That was good. You really put the pedal to the metal there.
But we lost, it's a game tying touchdown. But
that capped off just an exceptional performance by our young quarterback.
Outside of that touchdown, what's your favorite touchdown? Was that something I could ask?
My favorite touchdown? I mean, when Terry McLaurin scooped the ball up after B-Rob dropped it on the 6-inch line and flexed in front of the hometown crowd and showed the ball. I just thought,
okay,
this is a guy who does it all for us, and just
did he steal the ball away from Sadiq Charles?
He stole it from everybody. That's his ball.
It is his ball.
Terry McLaurin knows one thing. That ball's near him. That ball's Terry McLaurin's.
Yes, it is. He's so strong.
And we started off that day. He has not been targeted enough. We haven't talked about that enough, and I don't think Eric Bieniemy's been around enough. And I think they came to a decision. The first 2 targets of the game instantly covered balls to maybe 3 to Terry to set the tone, to say, all right, let's go. Let's get the ball in the hands of our dude. I love that. No better way to calm down a young quarterback than to have Terry McLaurin settle his ass down in those first couple throws of the game when, everything's going through your head and the nerves are pumping and you're in Philadelphia and that's gross enough as it is. Next thing you know, you got a guy like that to rely on. That really got Sam Howell out of the gates, and damn did he play well.
But it also puts so much attention now on McLaurin, and it allowed
everyone
other
knows
guys
who
to
he
step
is.
up. Thomas, De'Ami Brown, Jahan,
De'Ami Brown had a good
4
game.
times, but still, I mean, it opens it up. when you do that too.
Yeah, he's. Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but man, that's why I felt enjoyable watching this game.
Yeah.
Succeeding with Terry McLaurin, because we know, you game plan it, right? Eric Bieniemy and the wide receivers coach and the quarterbacks coach. So here's the deal. Terry McLaurin, he's one of the top.
We got to get the ball
league.
in his hands, right?
He's going to run this pattern and he's going to be open because he always is. He knows how to get open. That's all he does is he gets open. So just trust that he's going to be open and throw the ball there. And for God's sake, there were times when he was covered, obviously, that he caught the ball, but he was freaking open plenty. And Hal got the ball. Not to mention, I guess the other thing, those 3 passes especially right away, but clearly an emphasis on getting the ball out of his freaking hands a little bit quicker. I think that was evident as well.
No doubt, and the trust, and it will happen, and this line will happen, I hope. But we got a couple warts up front, but that's all right because they did some good things too, and we're going to grow together. It's what we have. It's what we got. It's too late now. We've bitched about it enough.
Yeah,
this is what we got. No one's walking through. The Hogs aren't walking through that locker room door.
They're not.
So, but we did some good things in the run game, especially later on in the game after we softened them up a little bit.
But we, at this point in the last few seasons, we're always bitching about the quarterback position. We don't need to do that anymore.
No.
Nope.
Nobody does.
It was fair to do it last week, but I think we all understood there's going to be an anomaly. There's going to be a game like that.
I mean, even Allen had a game like that this year.
That Buffalo defense obviously is legit.
So absolutely. So, and if you think that he's not going to go the rest of his career without having a 3 or possibly even 4 interception game, it's going to you're ridiculous.
5 sacks. It's hard to imagine. You look at 5 sacks and you think, man, thank God it was only 5 sacks.
Felt like I had 5 sacks on my love handle about half an hour ago.
Well, 32 yards.
No, 5 sacks is too many.
It's too many. But it's almost 50% of the previous week.
I actually didn't even realize we had 5.
He might have run out of bounds behind the line once too, but he got hit, and he's going to get hit. But 41, he dropped back more than 41 times, but 41 pass attempts, 29 or 41 for just under 300. I mean, obviously, I don't know. Again, QBR and rating, blah blah blah. He looked good. He was definitely the leader out there, and he put the ball where it had to be, and he did it he just kind of did it in a manly way, in a way like so many weaker, lesser quarterbacks just can't do.
Can I get into my third downs yet? Am I allowed?
Let's save that for 1 second.
I just want to keep talking about Sam, and I won't talk about it again. No.
Okay. Let's
keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. You put him up there, and I just want to talk about Sammy.
Or let's look at these again. Five guys carrying 6 for 40 from Sam. We can talk since we're talking about Sam. His decision making in terms of tucking and running. Obviously, there's 2 ways you can avoid sacks. So there's 2 ways you can help a quarterback avoid sacks: throw it faster or get the hell out of the pocket faster. He tucked and ran a couple times. I thought that were quicker decisions than he's made in previous weeks. But I mean, those are 40 hard yards, hard earned.
Yeah, he was remarkable at times, trying to figure out how to get out of that pocket and how. He didn't escape to the side. He ran through the pocket, which I enjoy. He escaped directly north-south. And when you start falling around, you see what he tried to escape in week 1, strip sack fumble. The terrible things happen, and especially the young guys. When you escape through the eye of the pocket, right up that middle, and that's what happens. Those where the lanes are. And boy, he's good at it, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
When he does do it, he's freaking good at it. And I feel like he doesn't do it too much either,
he doesn't do it too much,
right? And he'll figure out the holding on shit, but we're gonna have to hold on for that. That's not something that happens overnight, especially with this O-line. You're trying to make a plan there, and he believes in these guys, and he's tough enough to hang in there. Let's remember that as well. But when he does run, he's done a great job, man.
The hanging in there part. So there's good quarterbacks in this league that aren't mobile, and like this Matt Stafford and Ryan Tannehill, just older guys who are veterans. They can throw the ball a mile. They got everything. They're prototypes. They stand back there. They're going to throw, and you're worried about them running on you. But there's one. Like you can hang in the pocket by just dropping back and just hold the ball as long as possible and get it to the right guy. But if you have the mobility that Sam Howell and a lot of quarterbacks now have, it's the climbing the pocket. And they mentioned it a lot. But when you watch enough games all day Sunday, and the quarterbacks who climb the pocket, they drop back, but then they're working their way up into the pocket, which I think as long as our center isn't getting destroyed up the middle,
it's pocket presence. I mean, the best
stepping
that's ever,
up into it.
The best that's ever done it
Tom.
Tom Brady
Yeah.
was a genius at it. He didn't run the ball. Unless it absolutely, I mean, he didn't run the ball.
And he always says, and the guy that I always was taught about, it was the footwork in the pocket was Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Joe Montana wasn't a big runner, but when you're so gifted with that type of feet and you can roll out, but not only does he climb the pocket, you can climb back into the pocket.
Yes.
You've seen Caleb Williams at the college level. I'm sorry, we talk about him a lot, but
he's-
he will climb the pocket and yo-yo back up. And next thing you know, now you're in charge. That defense is scattered.
Yeah.
And now he's got you right by the stuffings.
Well, the runs that he's able to get. So there's more runs there than he takes, obviously, that he's capable of. But he is looking to throw. He's looking to extend play, and I like the way you said it better than the way I said it too. Just our line isn't they're not world beaters, right? They're not going to be able to create the perfect pocket on every given play and give you somewhere to sit. But they're big 300-pound fat dudes who can give you something. And if Sam Howell can read what they're giving him and be in the right spot, like if these two guys are winning their one-on-ones this down, if these two are winning their one-on-ones this down, I feel like that's also an instinct that not all quarterbacks have. He's showing that he has it. And
his instincts have
he's
been
got some
tremendous.
it.
Yeah. Oh,
He
no doubt.
definitely has some it.
We're starting to see what I guess they saw last year a little bit in practice before they determined to start him. But
one sack was a trip, NES. You're right. Throw that up there. One sack was a trip. He tripped over Charles.
he stepped on his foot and went down in the pocket.
Was it his own foot, by the way, or Charles's foot?
It was Charles's.
Okay, I saw the replay and I was like,
And we always talk. The rule of thumb is you talk about an O lineman for the first time doing something bad. You got to say it's doing something good. On Brian Robinson's long 15, 18, whatever it was, touchdown run.
That was one of my favorites.
Watch Sadiq Charles. He down blocks in a double team and then gets off the double team and reaches on an outside backer. And he is if we're going to talk all this noise as they've earned, we've got to show the bright spots. When you get a chance to check out that touchdown run, watch old Sadiq Charles. I think we're seeing what his athleticism could bring and why his ceiling could still be. He could be someone we could re-sign at a decent price and be a guy. After I saw that block, I saw that's some athleticism. That's a big, strong dude. Consistency, I believe, is his issue and staying healthy.
I was just going to say that. If we can see that multiple times.
That's fair.
But he's also capable of it.
Yeah. We saw that right there. You'll see what he's capable of when you watch that play. It's awesome.
Philadelphia has a good defensive line.
It's so cool.
Philadelphia has a great defensive line.
What he did was a big-time football play at this level.
Yeah.
It was a big deal, man.
I was worried about Jalen Carter, and I think he did okay. And he made it.
He didn't have.
He didn't have an All-Pro game. Yeah, no.
Well, as we well know, when division play starts, rookies have to start all over again a tad bit. And I think we got a big dose of that. This week.
I cast my preseason vote for Jalen Carter for Defensive Rookie of the Year. But I'll tell you what, Devin Witherspoon.
Where'd you cast it, dude? It sounds very professional.
Listen, there's it's a casting place.
Central Casting? Did you get a
It was on a casting
Dark
couch.
web.
Oh, God, it wasn't a casting couch, wasn't it?
It was not a casting couch. It might have been a casting couch. But anyways,
Get out of here, I'm casting.
Devin Witherspoon is looking. I don't know if you guys watched last night.
Yes.
He's freaking crazy.
The whole time I was watching him do this, we knew this. We talked about this though. What a badass he is. You see him laying wood out there, flying around, mauling people.
You said it.
Played a different position last night than he's played all year long. They moved him into the slot. He's never done it in his life. Hasn't scored a touchdown since high school. Didn't do it at Illinois. This dude had a sack.
Two sacks. He had 2 sacks.
You would know. You're in charge of all
He's
sack
like the
statistics.
first one to have 2 sacks and a touchdown.
And a pick
Yes.
6.
in
He had like 8 tackles.
20-some years or 30-some years.
Yeah. It's we knew he was going to be a guy that we weren't going to get our hands on.
We had no chance.
No, but that was our
That's
that
my
was our
highlight.
pipe dream.
I was turned off
if
to
Bruce
him.
Allen came out of retirement to falsify some type of shoulder injuries at the same time, Jonathan Allen style, that's the only chance we had.
The only chance we had. I remember that. I'm kind of like, I don't want to fall in love with this guy because there's no way we're gonna get him. He's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's as advertised. He's a difference maker, and he's 21. I mean, please, if you wear 21, I hope you have that kind of game. He's got that kind of game. I hate when they compared him to Dion, though. He's so much more physical than Dion. I mean, Dion's
Troy
obviously
Aikman. That was
fast.
Troy Aikman.
Okay.
Troy, and I was like, what is he
Come
talking
on,
about?
man. I appreciate the compliment on the coverage and athleticism,
Who's
but
number 0 for,
Not on
for
the
Giants?
not on the physicality.
He was going to run him down if he didn't have any help.
Who?
He was number 0 in the Giants, the wide receiver. he was going to run him down.
Harris
Without a
Campbell.
doubt.
Harris Campbell.
He was going to run him down easily.
Yeah, he got.
Oh, he's a speedster, but he might not have been able to tackle him though. Devin
Well, I don't know.
Witherspoon, he's kind of a man. No, but no, he's not. No, he just is a great football player at that position. That's why the dude's a stud.
Corners are fun to watch. The good ones, the great ones. They're just
Well, ours,
the best ones.
Ours wasn't a ton of fun to watch this week, but once again, if we're going to say the same shit about
Once in a
Sam
while.
Howell, we got to give Emmanuel. Listen, he's going to get toasted up.
Yeah, well, they're going to test him.
You're going on.
Damn right they're going to.
AJ
And guess
Brown.
what's going to happen now? His passes defense are going to go through the roof
almost had
because
another one.
they coming. They
He
are
almost,
coming.
he almost had another one.
I know.
And in fact, I think it was who was it that came over the top from the safety?
Yeah,
Forrest, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Defoe.
I think he might have.
Defoe.
But
Defoe.
the wide receiver made a nice play on the ball too, so he wouldn't get it. But he almost got his second one.
Yeah.
All right, that reminds me. Where are we here on the?
If you had to pick one thing in the defense, it is the big play right now.
That's it?
Shit, yeah, dude.
It's
We're
the
giving
big
up,
play. We're giving up too many big plays.
we're giving up 30 points a game. This defense has given up 120 effing points. Come on, man.
It's. I mean, you see, we played Buffalo and Philly, and you're like,
an
all right,
offensive
but
league.
It's fine.
Arizona,
I'm with you.
and Denver, you're like, maybe we shouldn't have.
I know the worst big plays were Denver, which is I mean, by the way, Denver, Chicago. We'll talk about it later, but holy crap!
The next 3 weeks, listen, we're the last team in the world to get high and mighty and cocky about anything. But Chicago, Atlanta, New York, let's just at least say it this way. Those are games we should be super competitive in. And those are games we should,
Let's be honest.
have some
They're
confidence.
games we should win.
I
The
don't.
next
I
3
agree
weeks
with
are
that.
games we should win.
Yes,
And be a good tone up for
some divisional
Eagles
battles,
on October
some
29th.
NFC
You will
battles.
get no arguments out of me, sir.
Yeah, I mean, if
I just
if
thought
they
I'd throw
can
that
play
up
the
there.
way they did this past weekend, those should all 3 be wins.
And that's a huge if, and I agree immensely because if we play that way, then I'm not worried about these guys. But let's not forget, we just played the Bills about 8 days ago also.
Yep.
But this league's bonkers. I'm sorry, though. It's you don't look past Chicago. Guys,
Nope.
we know this.
Nope.
This is it's a dogfight. But when we look at that schedule, the way we're talking schedule, specifically in that arena, it's fun as shit to look at that. And
That's why
all right.
I just wanted to throw it up
Yeah,
there.
why not?
Obviously, we're playing Chicago.
We're fans.
That's
We're
all that
allowed to
matters.
do this. This
Yeah.
is not. This is why we're here. And you're damn right. This portion of the schedule looks like 5-2, heading to the final weekend of October with Philly coming back to town.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I feel like that. Well, we'll see. Let's get there first, but that's the kind of game everyone should have to watch. If we have to watch more Jets, Giants primetime games, I mean, and I have to watch, right? Because I'm a junkie.
There
and I
have been
can't
bad primetime games.
because the Jets they're all the
Majority of
executives.
the games have been lopsided.
They were
to
like,
be
let's
honest.
get Aaron Rodgers on TV. And they picked all the games. And now it's the freaking Zach Wilson show every week on primetime.
And I liked him how he played the other night.
played great.
He played great.
He bounced.
How about this?
He bounced back.
How about this for stats?
So did Fields.
How about he played Zach Wilson the other night, had more yards, completions, touchdown passes, and less interceptions than Pat Mahomes. I think they said 147 starts, including the NFL and college. No other quarterback has ever done that to Pat Mahomes. 5 years in the pros or 6, and
great.
3 in college. No one has ever done. Now it's the whole amount: yards, completions, touchdowns, less interceptions. No one's ever done it, and Zach Wilson did that.
And all the Taylor Swift fans in the audience watching the game, they were like, he is so dreamy. And you know what? They were like, and they saw that and they're like, wow, he's better than Patrick Mahomes. He's a better quarterback than Patrick
He's
Mahomes.
the anti-hero.
He's the greatest.
It's him,
Yes,
Zach Wilson,
exactly.
anti-hero.
Stop.
Hi,
Just stop, you two.
it's T.
That's my favorite Taylor Swift. I don't care. Everyone else is doing it. I can't stop it. I don't want to
That's
do
why you
it.
gotta
I
stop.
hate it. I know. I hate it too, but it's
Everybody
uncontrollable.
else is doing
There's a
this
microchip.
shit.
Someone put a microchip. A Taylor Swift. We've been getting Swiftied. The Bears got Swiftied, for God's
Yes, they
sake.
did. It's our-
They
you
went
know-
to Kansas City, and that's who Kansas City was playing when she showed up. Now look what's happening to them.
Got to be fearless. You just got to be fearless.
All right, take it easy. Seriously.
It's our story.
I mean, it's all right.
our story.
But it's karma, though.
It's
yeah.
karma. It is karma.
Karma is here. Is your dill bag.
I'm just a mirror ball. All I'm saying is I'm a mirror ball. I don't know what that even
So
means.
Adam's been doing all these things, and I'm done. Mrs. Kelsey, no matter who she sits next to, she just gets run all week. Every
Like sitting next to Jake at State Farm, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm over it. I'm totally over it.
Fucking reality show coming out for crying out loud. What the hell?
It's
is
too
going
much
on with these
now.
two?
That is I won't do that.
My 15-year-old daughter listens to their podcast
New Heights
religiously.
with
It's
Travis
crazy.
and Jason.
Yes.
I bet you it's good. I don't listen.
It's
to
unbelievable.
It. I will never listen to a
I watched it
Philadelphia
the
Eagles
other
show.
day. They
Nope,
are so
never.
good.
Wait till you see
together.
what happens to that podcast as soon as he does something wrong. It's over.
You imagine
It's over.
the pressure.
It's. We talked about it last week.
Can you imagine the Taylor Swift song about it?
Oh,
It's going to be a thing. I need. All right, sorry, Greg. You said I need to calm down. I'm calming down.
no,
I'm
it's
calming
gotta
down.
stop. See, you got me talking about it now.
It's
Stop.
It's it. But you know that's the thing. We're getting Jets is like mainlined on primetime weekly, and it's really tough. You know who it's hardest on? Jets fans, because like prior to this, it's the biggest troll to me. It's one of the biggest troll jobs in like the last few years. It's like we're going to give you Aaron Rodgers, an awesome defense, crazy expectations. You know, we got you going to the playoffs. We got you winning the division, going to the playoffs. This is your year. 4 plays in, he's hurt, and you look at the schedule and like, oh my God! Every week for the next 8 weeks, it's Zach Wilson at 8 p.m. every week, and every Jets fan's like, oh man, now everybody has to watch this now. I can't escape it. You're gonna go to work tomorrow. If you're a Jets fan, you're going to work the next day, and every single person. And not just every single person, not just every casual NFL fan. Now anyone who works in your office who's a Taylor Swift fan, everybody watched it. Everybody saw your team get waxed. It's tough. Sorry. We didn't have that. No, we weren't flexed. We weren't put on prime time. There were some years we didn't even have a prime time game. It was our terribleness was almost like our secret. Like no one else really even cared. It was pretty liberating for a while.
Well, I mean, as long as you feel liberated.
Okay, I was a little liberated. All right, so and Greg
Guys on the
Greg
board
got
are giving each other. It's
Yeah, they're doing it
impossible.
too.
It's hard not to do this Swifty game.
It's just, you know who it's hardest on though. Really, truly, it's Brittany Mahomes. I think it's hardest on her.
Why?
Because she lost her perch.
No,
Dude,
you
there's
didn't read.
no-
They
They
did.
don't. That's why.
They
That's
did
why she
shots
went in.
together.
I know,
Yeah, they're
that's why
friends now.
You imagine. You know how hard Brittany. I'd have hated been Patrick Mahomes. The
There's
night
no
after
competition.
because she was like, "You're getting me into that suite, no matter what."
It's true.
Patrick was like,
Not
"Oh,
your
shit."
effing brother.
Yes.
I will kill him.
yes.
He does have that kind
That
of pull
was
though.
so forced. Brittany Mahomes felt so left out that she had to get forced into the suite. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop there.
Saucer of milk table for 1 over there. Wow. Yeah, I mean, again,
It's
first
an
ballot Hall of
ego-driven
Famer,
world.
possibly the
Are you
greatest
kidding?
tight end to ever play the game, who is
Being-
being judged by who he's
I-
dating.
No, he's
I
being
have-
taken down by his jockstrap.
Yes.
He hasn't surpassed Gronkowski. The
But he's the it thing right now.
he is
and-
right now.
For sure.
And,
He is.
no, it was before the conversations of Taylor Swift. He's been the it guy for the last couple. Dude, what he's been doing is exactly what Gronk was doing.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, this guy's dominating the game from this position. It's pretty badass.
I'm interested now in Gronk versus Kelsey and stats. We'll work on that during the show. Let's push through some actual Washington stats. So let's get rid of the rushing.
The
Any other rushing?
3.2 yards
Not
average
enough.
is not great. Our running backs combined to average 3.2, and that's not great.
I'm going to repeat the one
It's
thing
a
I said
damn
last
good
week,
defensive line. Don't get me wrong.
just in case I have to keep repeating it, and you guys can, because initially I think the thought right now is don't worry about it. But there's the one play we run a lot, the Bryant, where he kind of it's a handoff right. He runs kind of at the right tackle, makes a decision to turn upfield, and gets buried for like a half-yard loss or maybe a half-yard gain. We run that play a lot, and the last 2 weeks it's happened a lot. Now I know with a guy like Brian Robinson, it's just keep giving him the ball. He's going to
Well,
break
it's also
those.
a zone scheme, and you're going to get a different look and a different front, and there's going to
Yeah.
be plays that get blown up, and good defenses get called.
I
But
love
it's
Brian
a staple.
Robinson.
It's a staple of our offense, and it's going to be run differently. But I know what you're saying.
I feel like he's not. I don't want to. I don't want to say. I love Brian Robinson. And I think he's our guy. But making him run laterally and make a hard turn up without any speed at all, and some of these like 6'5", 300-pound defensive lineman isn't, and we don't have a right side of our line. He's getting contact in the backfield. I don't know.
Our line's not great.
Antonio Gibson also 3.2. It's an interesting
plays a
average per
factor.
carry.
And they only combined for 3 receptions for 13 yards. So
All right,
the,
let's go over
the
there.
running back
Let's-
position, you don't have to go there yet. I'm just saying it because that's not a huge stat that we need to focus on running back wise. But my point is this:
Get him more
3.2 for carry and 19 for. I mean, the total yardage out of our freaking entire backfield is 77 yards on however many touches. 23 touches for 77 yards. That ain't cutting it.
No.
I mean, that's okay. That's just what it is right now. And I thought we'd have a much more production out of the running back position in the passing game, specifically versus a team like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Specifically because you don't want to put all that on
But
Sam
I think
Howell.
we can get it in the next 3 weeks.
But
Well,
I will
we
say,
need to.
when Ken goes to this next stat, you're going to see where all the plays were called this week, and it's kind of exciting, especially.
So close.
Look at these targets.
He
Obviously,
needs a 100-yard
10
game.
to Terry,
So close.
Look at our wide receivers.
9 to Jahan, 8 to Curtis.
8 to Curtis. That's 27 wide receiver targets. That has
to your
to
top
be,
3 guys.
That has to be a record in recent years.
For
Can
us.
you guys remember
No.
that many targets at the wideout position with any other quarterback that we've had in here in freaking forever?
Our first and or second highest targeted player on a weekly basis has almost always been the tight end. And it hasn't gone great for us.
Right.
It didn't, not even great stats.
Yep.
So this is amazing because, you got John Bates, the tight end with the Cole Turner. I was a little sort of shocked to see the lack of targets, but whatever. I'm happy to see that those targets went to Terry, Curtis, and Jahan. I'm sorry, I see Logan in there as well.
Yeah, but the tight end position had 4 targets, as you see there, and they had great production with those 4, 47 yards. But that's just, I'm thrilled with the level of production. I'm not talking so much crap about the running backs. I'm thrilled with the wide receivers. This is a group we really thought would be special, and what they did against a team like Philadelphia suggests that they might be.
I think we got to
ahead.
get it to Terry Moore.
No doubt.
I'm happy with more
He
targets.
needs to get over 100. I think if he gets over 100, we have a better position to win games.
Well, how about this, T? I agree on the yardage stat, but how about 12? At least 12 targets. I think 12 targets, especially if you're talking about an average of 10 yards a reception, then 12 targets should net us the 100 that you're looking for. But there's still, if you look around the league and a team that has a dog at WR1, that guy's getting no less than 12 or 13 targets a game. And I think that's the part about our team. I appreciate the spreading it out. I love to see a long list. Last week's Washington receiving list was shorter. There was less names on it, and it sucked. So I like that. I love seeing the extra guys on there. But at the same time, if you have a guy like Terry McLaurin, just throw it to him more. I mean, I don't think
I'm pretty good with double-digit targets.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I understand, but I guess again, I think
I don't know if he's had them yet.
Yeah, we love him obviously, but I also think he's legitimately one of the best receivers in the league.
And what it does for our team when he produces, when your leader, when the face of your franchise is out there getting it done like he always freaking does, it really lifts the team up. You can feel it as a fan.
Yep.
You can watch the sidelines, and it's not just about energy. It's about momentum in this league, and this guy is a momentum changer. He's that good, and I agree. Just keep on targeting.
You can
more
push
and
it
more
to
and
him.
more. It's fine.
He's a guy you can and you don't want a young quarterback to get caught staring down receivers and to be caught one dimensional. I don't think anything about this stat suggests we're one dimensional, but he's a guy you can push the ball to. You see Kirk do it with Justin Jefferson. You see Joe do it with Jamar Chase. You see it happen with those kinds of guys. And listen, I think those guys are special, but I think we all believe Terry McLaurin is special as well. And we already said it once. He gets open. Quarterback's best friend is an open receiver. He gets open.
And when he doesn't, he gets hands on the ball, and it's his. He wins the 50-50 coin.
Was his
flip.
foot in?
Yes.
Of course it was.
Yes, it was in.
His foot was in. It was totally in.
There was green.
I knew we weren't
There
getting
was
that.
green.
I knew it wasn't happening.
There was no way we were getting
I've
it.
never seen a foot land on, and I understand the rule.
On his arm?
On an arm. I'm like, God damn it. Because it's just like, listen, you put an elbow on a back and the dude's down, you can get up and
That
keep
hurt
running.
like shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. But I still thought I saw green.
I saw green.
I saw green.
And listen, the three of us see green. It's not our first rodeo. You know what I'm saying? We call it green a green.
See green a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of green that we've seen over the time. And we all saw green. That means we saw green. So,
I mean,
and green means go. And you can see the green, J-Dubs. No doubt about it.
So Ken Harris asks, any chance of bringing Brissett on the 3rd and 4th and 1? He said 28 for 38 in those situations. I understand he's a big body, and that's a play that he runs well. But I guess I would say no.
The whole doing the Thomas thing the second time. I come on.
I was okay
You're
with
not,
it.
You're not fooling anybody. Just, I mean, if you're going to do that, just light him up and do it. Just light him up and do it.
He has such a, for a better, strike zone. He's not getting low at 6'7", 240. His strike zone from his chin to his kneecaps is like 8 feet long. Right. So he's trying to run the thing, and they stood him up, and I was like, I think that we got a penalty. We got a penalty call. So essentially, we were 1 for 1. So the second time didn't even count. But the second time we did it, I was like, why are we doing that?
If you're going to do that, just line him up.
Because now it's not sneaky. It takes a full second. And the second time, it's the quarterback sneak is now just the quarterback.
But how many center quarterback exchanges is he taking too? Just line him up there. Don't have him run over there and do it real quick. Like you're gonna get him off.
I'm now ready that we've set up. He stands over there with his gigantic legs and puts the hands under, and they direct snap through his legs.
I thought about that.
I thought they were going to do something.
I thought about that
early in the clock.
He's tall enough.
Early in the clock, have him roll in under center like the way we do, and have the defense react to that, and then just have him motion out, snap to the quarterback and hit him in motion in the flat.
Your flag football coaching career.
Pop pass. Ken's calling for the pop pass.
I'm looking
tight end
for
delay.
Tight end pop pass.
Or delay when you sit there and you're jogging plays for 2 seconds in 1984 and then release to the flat worked every time. T-stracking to Vinnie Moore.
A jet sweep with a tight end. It's kind of like a cargo plane sweep. I mean, it's not quite jet enough.
I agree with Greg Martin. Isn't Howell seems like a pretty sneaky guy?
I mean,
he's got a nice center of gravity.
I know he's not the biggest guy, but I'd be pissed.
It's more about Gates.
I'd be like,
Coach Bannerman, you don't think I'm very, very sneaky?
What the hell am I doing out here?
Yeah, I can sneak around. I'm fairly sneaky, but hey, some guys can do it, some guys can't.
Wow.
What the farts was that, dude?
I don't know. You did the whole I can be sneaky, so I gave you.
That was sneaky. I shit myself. That was sneaky too.
Maybe the old sneaky.
Everything's all of a sudden everyone's sneakier than Sam Howell all at once.
That was
God damn.
That was. Let's go back to some stats. All right, so there's your receiving stats. How about some defensive stats? Defensive stats of the game brought to you by
Cam Curl.
Cam Curl. He had a great game.
Yes, he did.
He had a great game. Nobody had a perfect game on our defense. If they did that, we wouldn't have given up 34 points.
Cam Curl came as close as anybody.
Agreed.
He's just
I love
a badass,
the sack.
Man.
The sack was fun to watch. What's with the deal? Like, all right, so what can we have a team stance on Cody Barton? What's our team stance on Cody Barton?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to say he made one play on a crossing route, and I'm not sure it was A.J. Brown. No. It was Devontae Smith. How he made the play, he reacted to the mesh, and he was in the wrong spot. He had taken that left step, and he turned and bolted. And I don't know how he made the tackle. It might have been a touchdown-saving tackle. So
it was.
He showed me a little bit, but I'm kind of with T on the.
That's right.
He's not doing anything. I'm like, this guy sucks, but I'm like, he makes a lot of tackles 7 to 12 yards downfield.
Yeah, exactly.
We have no linebackers, and he's one of them. He's one of our almost no linebackers.
Davis,
it's crazy.
I think Davis is playing well.
He had some impactful plays showing his athleticism and speed, no doubt about it. It jumped off the page, that one play in the flat. I was like, whoo, is that Jamin Davis? And he got up, and it was, and I was thrilled. So
I think he's obviously he's put rumors of, or anyone who was thought, BUST on him.
I thought he had more
over.
tackles than that, to be honest.
Well, because the plays he made jumped off the screen. I did too. When I looked at the box score, I was like, I felt like Jamin Davis was all over the place in 6. But you know what? He was making plays everywhere, and he was flying around that football field, sideline to sideline.
He was.
And we got a lot of guys that can do that. And I know we're giving up tons of points, but like T said, it's an offensive league. I get that. Jalen Hurts, the stupid ass butt push, whatever the shit, can't stand it, makes me sick.
I don't like it.
But
I don't like brotherly shove either. That's
No, I don't.
that's some crap.
no, that sounds way worse. To
It
be
sounds
honest.
too Philly. It's
Like,
I can't
that
do
sounds
I
like
can't do
that sounds like menacing.
can't do that.
That's brotherly.
I call it the Philly Willy, but I don't.
No, I don't even like. That's gross.
It's totally gross. That's why. And the best part is
No.
The
That's
Giants.
what you did to Kevin before we started.
I did. I gave him the Philly Willy. The Giants tried to run it last night, and they lost 2 players. They lost 2 players trying to run the Philly Willy, and they lost.
What did they get? Water on the back?
They got water on the back.
They got water on the
They got
back.
water on the back.
Oh, Philly Willy,
They lost
SOB.
John Michael Jingerhamel Schmitz, the freshman center, and they lost another guy on the same trying to run that one play. I mean, how about this? I don't think it's that hot to take. I think this play is not long for this league. I do not see them letting the Giants put like 3 offensive linemen in the backfield, and they all plowed into the guy with the ball
To
behind.
be honest with you, I don't understand why it wasn't allowed before.
I mean, they're basically
What-
putting
why-
a guy
why
in the
would you
middle.
not- why would you not? Why would be against it?
It's going to get someone killed. I mean, it's basically like a reverse tug of war with 300-pound animals, and you put one guy with a ball in the middle, and you have everybody converging at once as in animosity and bad intentions, and some people are going to get
That's
destroyed.
every play.
It's a
man.
rugby
understand.
scrum, is
It
what
is,
it is, and it's what it is. It's
Don't
just-
disagree with
it's-
you. Don't
it's-
disagree with you.
I
don't.
And I don't either. But it's just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. Like, what are you supposed to do?
I mean, it goes
in
all the way back to when
1980.
it happened in USC in that championship game. I mean,
I know when it was illegal.
why can't you?
When it was
do that?
illegal.
That was illegal, and they didn't call it. But in
know.
1987, what would have happened is it would have been self-regulated. At the end of the play, if they got the first down, some backup D lineman would have picked Jalen Hurts up and spiked him off of his head, gotten fined and suspended for 2 weeks, and Jalen Hurts would have been out for a month, and the message would have been sent.
Yep.
Those days are long gone. There's no more self-policing. It's a very petite scenario. But they're going to have to end it. It's going to be ended. It's going to be one of those things that's talked about, and they're going to come up with something.
Every rule in the last 5 years has been about, quote unquote player safety. Like, we can't
Right.
put our players in position. We can't be seen as this barbaric, like the Spartans versus the Greeks, or what, we can't have this like ridiculous
Not a
situation.
high impact play.
It is a high impact
Did we
play.
just go from
They're
brotherly
inches away
push
from each
to
other.
Spartans and Greeks?
Yes.
Because
I don't know.
It's an 0-2 count, and strike 3, I'm out of here.
It's just like people it's an old school warfare. You just say, okay, you're like, ready, charge, and
Yeah,
people,
but
it's like
At what point in old school warfare is there one guy in the middle of both sides doing the push? Like, it's so
true.
Jalen Hurts is a pretty important guy to them. He is the
He is.
highest paid player, and so if they're willing to put that guy in the middle of that, then it's important to them. And I don't like the play. It doesn't mean I think it should be outlawed or illegal. I just do think I agree with you.
I just think it will be. That's
I agree.
all I'm saying.
And I agree with T. I'm not saying it should, but stuff like this, we know in this day and age, it's not.
I mean,
It's not long.
We had
This is
Kirk
not-
Cousins for 10 years, or however long. We couldn't execute a quarterback. So if you put him by himself,
Yes, but
he couldn't get a yard.
To be fair, the brotherly push was against his religion. So.
It's true. It was very true. He was not a Philly Willy kind of guy at all.
He'll sing a song to you about it too. Yeah.
I think
not
we
a
should just call it the
Philly
scrum.
Willy guy.
I think that's what we should.
It is a
call
scrum.
It's a scrum.
But it's
That's
also-
what it looks like.
That's what it should be.
It's gonna be the Philly
All
Willy.
these stupid.
4th and 1, scrum.
All right, here you go, Kevin. I'm gonna put the almost famous T-shirt on the chair and go Russell on you and say, this lets you say all the things that you want to say about this team right now, and you get to go first. You get to pick off one line. I know what line you want to pick, and I just want you to go to town on it.
I'm going to go to town on it, and
It's the fourth one down,
So
fifth one down.
that does no justice, right?
I understand, but you can talk about it because we're talking about Sam.
there. Sam Howell and I've
Let's
talked
get it.
about it.
Let's dig into the 8 for 17 on 3rd down.
So 8 for 17 on 3rd down is a huge stat, and that's a good number. But I'm telling you, the number is more important than that. It's better than that.
Yep.
I've documented it going into, and I'll stop after this week because this is a young quarterback's thing. And what he showed me last week means we don't have to talk about it anymore. He was 10 for 37 if you include the 4 scrambles he had previously in his 4 starts as a Washington Commander. 10 for 37, 4 of those 10. So he was 6 for 33 just throwing the ball on 3rd down. What we got to see Sam Howell do is turn himself into a guy that seems veteran-like, a guy with poise, presence, and the ability to, on the road, be a badass. In the fourth quarter, till the end of the game, 10 different opportunities, 9 on 3rd and 1 on 4th. we put the ball in his hands and said, go out there and make a play, young man. 8 times he did. The 2 he didn't was 1 3rd and 22. He made the wise choice to just get on out of bounds, let his team punt. Let's go play some D. We got a good fucking defense. The other time was Terry McLaurin. And we thought that was a catch.
It was a
so
catch.
when I'm telling you lights out, 6 for 6 for 66 yards, a touchdown, and I'm including that final play. Yes, it was 2nd down, but it was the last play of the game. So I'm putting it in the must-have category of 3rd and 4th down. 6 of 6 for 66 yards, a touchdown. 2 rushes for 24 yards and both 2 touchdowns. 6 of 8 times on scoring drives, he made multiple plays on 3rd down to advance us and led to points on the board. What he did in 3rd downs against a damn good defense, the defending NFC champs, in their place with 70,000 screaming assholes, was tremendous.
Yep.
What he did on 3rd down was tremendous. He showed me he's capable. We don't need to document this dumbass stat anymore. He kind of grown up and he's all grown up. If you do that in conference and you've shown you're capable of that, we don't have to worry about if you can do it anymore. It's now about consistency.
Yeah. Yes,
So I love that he showed us exactly what we needed to see. Hey, I'm not going to bitch about 3rd downs anymore because Sam Howell, dude, 8 for 9 for 113 yards on 3rd downs in that game. And it would have been 9 for 9 had somebody had the wherewithal to call that little toe in, stepped on the arm that McLaurin had. That's badass, dude.
While we're talking about this, if you haven't already taken a chance to do so, hit the subscribe button for First Amendment Sports. Give us a thumbs up if you see or hear anything that entertains you, anything you like. We very much appreciate it. I'll repeat what I always say. I have no idea what any of that means. But when a yellow thumb comes screaming across the screen, I'm not gonna lie. I think we all, as a team, feel a little validation. It's just this
Makes you feel good.
Little gift you can give us.
Those are thumbs.
But go ahead, T.
What made me feel good and what I liked was he got asked about this, and he said about the Sam Howell got asked about 3rd down specifically, and he said there was just a confidence that he felt like he built in this game. And he goes, it started with the first one, and then once you do that, you kind of just settle in and you feel confident every time you're going up and doing it. I've said it for years. When I called Maryland football games for those first, 4 or 5 years before Ralph got there, it was terrible football. I'm sorry, it was bad. But when Ralph got there, there was a different feel, especially on 3rd downs, when Sean Hill or Scott McBride was at the helm. You just had this feeling like, yeah, they can do this. You're starting to feel that. At least you started to feel that in this game. And hopefully they can carry it into more games. But it's a huge you shouldn't stop talking about it. It's a huge part of the game.
Well, I just don't want to jinx it because it was so freaking awesome. He was on a roll. He was in a rhythm, dude.
Well, how many
times?
It's
exactly what he said.
How many times have we watched quarterbacks on our team? And I we're fans of the league. We watch all the games. You know what kind of quarterback you're watching when you're thinking to yourself, I have no idea what this guy's about to do. I just don't. Maybe he's gonna do it. Maybe he's not. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Pat Mahomes. So who knows? I'm not putting Sam Howell in with those 3. But I am saying I'm watching this guy play ball for my team, and I'm like, man, I'm rolling with this guy.
There's nothing fluky about it.
No,
nothing fluky about anything he's done.
He's a player.
His release, his arm strength, his moxie, his toughness, his ability to hang in there on the road after a terrible week.
Apparently his preparation, his dedication. I mean, all of it is showing through, and he's getting, I think,
and he's getting pummeled
from his teammates for it too.
They freaking love him.
Yeah,
they do. There's nothing like this guy.
No relationship's more important.
Everything we said about him when we only saw him play one game against Dallas in a win last season all summer, we said because there were gut, heart thoughts about a guy that we...
I thought you were going to finish strong there.
I'll get there. Give me another glass of whiskey. But he is... I mean, he's not. He's quickly turning into a quarterback that we're not saying is the stopgap until we actually get a guy. He legitimately could be our quarterback for a long time, and we would legitimately be a very good football team if he's the guy. I mean, it's there's no other way to say it.
No, it's very true.
We're watching a guy who could be our guy, and I don't think, and I think the league. Listen, we're going to play on Thursday night in a primetime game. I don't believe Taylor Swift will be there. Sorry, T. But people are going to see. And, you know, you can't look past the Bears. Justin Fields, like you said, played a better game this past week.
300 plus yards.
Their team has some ballers on it, and you can't sleep on them. But I think we're better. And I think people are going to look at number 14. I think
it was the Broncos.
It was the Broncos.
They were up 21, though.
Let's not forget.
They were up 21 at home. That is a
lost.
Kick directly to the uprights.
Yes.
I mean, that's not.
Dude, Sean Payton was this close to being force-fed, like being held down and force-fed all the words he's said over the last, 4 months. And he still might be there.
Hey, Randy Moss brought up this week. He said, "You remember what he said about the old coach?"
Yes.
And I was like, "You can't go around in this league. This league is what do we talk about all the time? The most humbling
league there is.
There's a lot of egos come through, and a lot of egos don't make it.
That's right.
And Sean Payton, he's made it. He's a stud. He's got a Super Bowl. He's got a coordinator Super Bowl. He's got a head coach Super. Shut up, dude.
Yeah.
Shut up. No one cares about what you did. What have you done for me lately?
That's right.
Pipe down. Someone just dropped 70 on you. You almost lost to the Bears. But holy moly, up 21 points. Like, I'm looking at all the comparisons, but we do have to talk about one thing before we get done with last week. Right?
You want me to go back to the team stats?
No.
All
I just want to talk about the final play. You know, everyone's talking about it.
All right, so whether or not we should have gone for two?
Just want to know what you got. We haven't I haven't said one thing to you. I haven't heard one thing.
saved it. I saved it.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
No. I did because I didn't want to make the show about it because
I know. I understand. No, quickly.
Just to set the table, there's a conventional thought out there. You're on the road, you go for two to take the win. And that's like a billion years old, whatever. I think you let the coach make the call in the moment. It's always situational. Ron Rivera said they were gassed. They put one hell of a last drive together. They also they were also on the field not too long before that drive. So their offense had been on the field for quite some time to close out the game. I will go on record in this case as saying it was the right call. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, I'm going to totally disagree with you. I don't think I know what the right call is, but I don't think that was the right call because it didn't work. But
okay.
That's just, I mean, hindsight is 20/20, but
sure.
I will say this. We had the opportunity, and now this is from a fan's perspective. I'm not sitting here acting like I watch tape or know the deal or understand my team is gassed. I don't. My point is, if they're gassed, they might have to go out there and get the ball first, which is what we did.
Yeah.
Go 3 and out and freaking lose on a 54-yarder.
Yeah.
So gassed isn't exactly explaining it all to me. I think if your nickname's Riverboat Ron, it's not Rowboat Ron, baby.
That's
it's not
fair.
Paddleboat Ron.
That's fair. Totally
so if
fair.
you're Riverboat Ron and we're on the road in Philly, how about
Doggy
this?
paddle Ron.
As a fan, here's my perspective.
Don't gift that.
70,000 of the most obnoxious bastards that we've ever dealt with, and as close to a fan base as we have, as a vile, I mean, just the bad guys, the villains.
Can I ask you this? What play are you calling in that situation?
Shit, they got to have 5.
What do you call? What do you want? I mean, just whatever. I'm just saying. Just throw it out there.
This is not. There's no. I don't. I wouldn't even be able to explain to you what play. But I'm telling you right now, any coordinator, including me at the 13-year-old level, has 5 different plays that you can use. So we've worked on these. There's 5 plays that we have and there's 2 that we love. I'm just telling you that exists.
I understand.
So here's the deal: 70,000 screaming pieces of it. We just came back. We're the underdogs. We're the bot. We beat you last year. We're not afraid of shit. Let's come out there and throw it down and risk it and watch 70,000 silent assholes. Would have been the most amazing moment. That moment right then and there for a fan, a fan is why all the fans wanted it. And by the way, if we were gassed, then why the hell are we going to go out there and lose a kickoff and go 3 and out? That doesn't help me.
I'm just saying.
Here's my problem with this argument. How would you have felt if they went?
Oh, it's not an argument. I'm not saying. I didn't say I knew. I thought was the right thing.
You do
better than losing on a 54-yard field goal after going 3 and out. That's all. Not much better, no, but I understand that. Hindsight's 20/20. Our defense is giving up 30. We didn't stop them all day fucking long, and now we have a chance to rob them of victory on the 2 last plays of the game in the worst place in the world and walk out of there feeling like we stole everything that Philadelphia cared about, feeling like we stole cheesesteaks and brought them back to D.C. That's what it would have felt like.
Couple of wins.
So that opportunity to disrespect that fan base, franchise, and everything, and walk out of there with like salute. Now, I'm not saying it was the right call. I'm not. I'm saying I think we missed an opportunity there to really, really show that we are a ballsy team that's got swag and doesn't give a shit. That's it.
And if it works, that feels great. If it doesn't, you're like.
And meanwhile,
I hate it. It's the worst Monday morning quarterback
if someone batted a ball down, that would have been gross. But the 54-yard field goal while they were bloodletting, I'm glad they threw that go route to A.J. Brown, because if they want to understand time management in the NFL, they were getting 5 yards a clip on the run. Keep going for 5 yards. We're running out of timeouts. Yeah. Bloodlet us down to the 6-yard line and kick a little field goal and send us home.
That's actually a good point, because we took advantage of a mistake by them in terms of time management. That has not been the case for us in years past. We've been the givers of time over the last 10 years.
We've been father time.
We've been father time. We've gifted other teams with time.
And I will say this: I'm not going on the record saying we did the wrong thing, or if we went to be the right thing. I don't. I was comfortable and happy when the extra point went through. I felt relief. I was like, all right, fine. The game goes longer. I don't understand how gassed we are, but I know our defense is getting worked. And, well, not worked over, just worked. They were getting their 4 yards, 5 yards. That was what I felt like. They were getting like those 5-yard chunks. That's too much. That gets them in 2nd and 5. And that team, all they got to do is get into 3rd and 1, and they're going to, whatever that stupid play is. They had us by the short and curlies. That's it. That's all I'm saying. But I would say, to take that opportunity to see Kevin, the silence of Philadelphia.
I agree. So my general opinion, the only reason why I said I thought they made, I agree with I wouldn't say the right call. The only reason why I said I agree with the call, not that they made the right call, was that Ron Rivera looked at his guys and said, I don't think they got it. I don't think they can pull this off. But my general.
But then what are they going to do in this drive in overtime? Not a lot of confidence.
My general approach is, if you give my team the ball at the 2-yard, if you say I'm going to give you one play at the 2, or I'm going to have you flip a coin, try to win it, and get the ball, and then and either lose the toss and go on defense, or win the toss and start at like the 25-yard line and be 75 yards away. My general thought is, and this is where, if you give me the one play from the 2 to win it, I'm taking the one play at the 2.
We already had a chance to steal that game. We stole on the last second. In fact, with no time on the clock. With one of the most clutch throws in recent history, and a great catch. But where he put that ball. That was sickness. Yeah, that's a veteran throw.
And maybe psychologically, going for 2 would have had the Eagles a little bit on their heels, like, oh shit.
That's all I'm saying, and I was feeling that. I've watched a lot of football guys. I'm not fanboy here. I'm just talking momentum.
You can always say hindsight,
but I'm not saying that.
But I'll give my team ball to 2. I'll take it.
I just want to be clear. For me,
in general.
I just want to be clear. I don't want anyone to come attack me this week. I'm not saying we did the wrong thing.
Attack him.
I would have gone for 2. Now, when we didn't, I was fine with it. I wasn't negative. I wasn't like, oh shit, no, that's cool. That's fine. Extend the game, no problem. I think it would have been a beautiful thing.
There's a couple of Tress Way comments. Obviously,
Tress Way had an average game, and we're not used to that.
I know, and he had a terrible punt in overtime.
In crunch time.
Which was not like Tress Way.
And we had a chance after... In the 4th quarter, we had a chance from our own like 35. We had a punt, I remember, where he could have pinned them down, and he hit like a freaking 37-yard little. He just didn't have a typical Tress Way day.
Correct.
And the expectations are ridiculous. But
correct.
We really needed him in Philly. Do that shit last week when Hal was throwing 90 picks. That's all. Timing is everything in this crazy ass league.
Let's do how about this?
And Deron Payne's name never got said. That kills me. Zero tackles. Deron Payne had 0 tackles and was not a factor, and I don't understand, but whatever.
I think now I could be wrong, but I watched for it. He was getting doubled a lot on the inside, and also, I said it last week, and again, I'm not going to listen to his podcast because he's a Philadelphia Eagle, and I'm not going to sing his praises at length because he's a Philadelphia Eagle. But Jason Kelce is going to go down as one of the all-time greatest centers.
He's a stud.
And you play, your best guy against their best guy. If they're going to cancel each other out, so be it. And that might be part of kind of what happened there. Maybe, I don't know. But
when you're in there, you don't always have to record a stat to still have an effect on the game. I mean,
I know, but
I didn't stare at him.
He's the guy that dominates.
And
I'm just saying. I'm not saying he did anything bad. I never ever saw anything about him. He disappeared into. And by the way, at D tackle, it's very fair to say that's the case. But dang, Jonathan Allen had a day. I'm not saying they just were like, let's double team him and leave Allen alone. Allen had a sack and 2 tackles for a loss. I think Chase Young had another sack, another tackle for a loss. Like everyone's quieting down about Chase not going to OTAs. I'm happy about that because I don't want to have those dumbass conversations anymore. He's out there producing at a damn good level.
He's producing.
Now. He is. That's all.
That's the answer to the question.
No one's saying he's Lawrence Taylor right now, but he's producing.
He is producing.
Yes.
He's a professional defensive end, and he's doing it at a pretty decently high level. There's no one should have any problem with Chase Young right now. So we have 2 things left to do tonight. We do have a draft, but it's going to be a kind of a different flavor of a draft, and we're going to go to that in a second. But we got it, and we've talked a little bit about Chicago. Want to cue it up a little. I think it's important to talk a little bit more football before we close that out. For our folks who are hanging in there. And actually, we got all the people who have been watching and been staying on. So good to see you guys. Robert Cohen, NES, Greg, J Dubs, AGH. Did I see AGH earlier?
NES,
Ken
Tecmo,
Harris.
Ken Harris.
Yeah. Manner Speaking was in early. I haven't seen EO tonight, but you know what? I'm sure he'll be there. He was. You know what? He did the same thing. That's what I love about our guys.
What, he's downhill slalom skiing, watching it right now?
He said he was in
like
early. He came in basically to say, I can't. I'm not going to be able to hang out tonight. That's incredible.
Very polite.
Even Rhett showed up before he took a nap on the couch.
Yeah, he took a big dump on the floor and then passed
and then
out.
just passed right the F out. All right, so here's the deal. Ken Harris and NES are still in there. I see Ken. The Chicago game, the people we're not going to look past. Again, they have a very physical runner in Justin Fields. But running against our defensive front, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that matchup on defense on offense. We have the personnel, especially with Jamin, if they're gonna work him like that, or the additional ends that we have. We have the personnel to stomp on someone's running game. We have it. I mean, whether if that happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great.
But quarterbacks have had fairly good success against JDR in the run game. I don't know why it is. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure why it is, but it's real.
But their defense, so our defense is our strength. Their offense,
I hope so. We're giving up 30 a game, though, dude.
It's got to come. Something's got to give. Chicago ain't a 30 a game team. We'll see how that plays out. But the matchup that matters, I think, ultimately will be our offense versus their defense. They have at least through 4 weeks. I've been reticent to throw out where teams rank in terms of rushing and passing, but this team is not a good rushing defense. You said it earlier, Kevin. 14 touches last week to Brian Robinson. I do not expect that to be the case this week. I think this is his first 20 plus. Or I think this will be his highest carry, highest target game of the week.
I was going to ask you guys if he deserves more carries. I think he definitely does.
He does, and this is the week you do it.
I think he's the type
Definitely
of guy that we haven't really gotten a ton of this yet, but old school. The more you feed him, the more that he starts wearing you
there
down.
There are too many 1 yard loss, no gain plays. They can't. They need to keep doing it, but maybe they don't have the confidence in it.
Well, with this O-line, we need to keep everyone guessing. We can't just say, "Here we come." Like the Hogs. I'm just saying, terrible example, but no, you don't line up and say, we're about to shove this shit right down your throat because I think we have the ability to in the run game. We're just not the best pass rush.
No.
We just got and by the way, let's get a little screeny this week. Let's get back into the screenies like Ken was asking for last week.
I was asking
My
for
quick pregame, what needs to happen? Get out to a quick lead so that they can't run.
That's my number one.
And then you force them to be one dimensional, and then you just peel back your ears and let these guys go.
And
you win
because Fields is not the quarterback who can
you win the coin toss
and do it.
Are you receiving? Are you deferring or
perfect-
receiving?
Whatever.
That's the
not
perfect
whatever.
game plan.
You make the call. We win the coin toss against on Thursday night. Are you going to receive?
Well, you're trying to get me to say, go ahead and take it so you can get the first score. But
I'm asking you what you would do.
No, I'd like to bury them
coaches
and
don't
get
do
and
that.
win field position
Most
right
people
away.
defer, but
Our
that's just
defense,
the way
let's
it
put some
is.
confidence in our defense at home. Listen,
So I like deferring as well.
But that's what you do. That's how you get the sacks. That's how you get the pass rush because you make them one-dimensional, and Fields is not the type of quarterback that can be a one-dimensional quarterback right now.
and I couldn't agree more with this because what I was going to say, the key to the game, and it's for all of you that might be there, Ken Marangolo, My man Rhett.
I'll be there.
Rhett Donnelly and Ken will be in the house. Now listen,
Yes.
Get there, get fired up. Let's get this place rocking and rolling, and the rest of us will do our jobs in our own tire places. But I know this about Chicago. Week 1, they got stomped out by Green Bay. It was 38-14 at one point. Never once did they feel like they were going to win that game. Week 2, it's Tampa Bay. They cut it to a 3-point lead. They're on their own 4-yard line, and Justin Fields throws a pick 6 deep in his own territory to effectively end it down 27-17. Week 3, they got swiftied by 31 points.
DeAndre.
It was freaking 34-0 at halftime. No Taylor. It was Taylor that week. That's what I'm saying. The Chiefs.
No DeAndre.
It was 41-0. Sorry, 34-0 at halftime. So they were never in that game. So all of a sudden last week they're up 21 and they spoiled it. These guys do not know how to freaking win. They have no damn chance. They don't understand it. They've either gotten stomped out or given it up late or given it up for the whole entire
And their
second half.
coach is
21.
not helping them at all.
And they've lost every which way but loose. And they lost their D coordinator 2 weeks ago with a government intervention. There's so much shit going on.
By the way,
you jump on these dudes
that
at home
matters.
and let us have a win like we've earned. Not a last year's Carson Wentz somehow battles. What was that, 13-7
Right.
or something?
Dude, by the way,
terrible
he
shit?
tried to retire. So that's the craziest thing. Like this guy, this defensive coordinator, he tries to retire, and he's like, you know what? It was like I'm gonna spend some time with my family, focus on my health. And you're like, let me just get this straight. You've been working all off season, preparing for this year, the draft, training camp, the first 2 weeks of the season. But now after 2 weeks of the regular season in the NFL, you're like, you know what? I need to spend more time with my family and focus on my health. There wasn't a single person in the world that was like, what did he do? He did something terrible. Like there's going to be a story about him.
We still don't know, do we?
Oh, well, there's some stuff going around.
It's a coming. I have no idea.
Rumors, but no, there's
rumors.
no-
I don't even know any rumors. I just am like, I
I didn't even know any
imagine.
rumors either.
I
It's
imagine there was some
it's-
fornications.
It's the bad stuff.
There's going to be
Yeah, rumors are
fornications.
terrible.
It's bad stuff. Yeah, it's bad
When a
stuff.
government agency, we should know best.
Yes.
But I thought the Bears came out early and said there was no illegal activity.
Of course they do.
They said they thought he was hibernating, and they had no
Why would you
idea.
say that?
They said, yeah.
It makes no sense.
It was
Yeah,
more
he's
like
hibernating.
it was more like tomfoolery. It was more like bear stuff.
Yeah, it's just
It was
you know,
weird bear stuff.
Why are these?
Just
No.
it's just a big old honey jar. He's got his hand caught right on it.
He was like the poo. He couldn't figure out how to get out that window. He was stuck
He
on
was
both
in there.
ends.
Tigger and Piglet. It was, they were
needed
all
the poo
involved.
push, right?
There was a lot of poo being pushed.
Who push?
There may have been some poo being pushed. I hope not, but I'm not entirely sure. And I don't want to comment affirmatively.
Well, let's keep their fan base on the Eeyore tip and leave us out of it.
Yes. By the
Because
way,
Thursday night.
the poo push got us alike. I don't know what our people are all about, but they love poo pushing, and they give us a
Let's
thumbs
go,
up.
poo.
All right, so and not to put too fine a point on it, but I'm going back.
I don't think you're about to after the poo
Not to-
conversation.
yeah, you
Go
can hit it.
ahead.
Just the tinier the point, it just squishes through. FedEx. I vowed never to go back until Dan sold the team, and
He gone.
He
That
gone.
sounds like you have experience.
We're going back on Thursday night. We got the tailgate. We're putting the tailgate back together, and then I don't.
You're putting the band back together.
putting the band back together. We're going to be out in the parking lot at our.
love it.
Are you guys on a mission from God?
I believe what you're trying to say is we're 106 miles from Chicago. We got a half a tank of gas,
Half a pack of
half
cigarettes.
a pack of cigarettes. It's dark and we got sunglasses on. And that is, by the way, an appropriate time to
is,
bring that up.
absolutely.
And they're gonna
100%.
need more cigarettes.
We're gonna need more
Goddamn.
cigarettes. I don't know. I'm very emotional about this, and I don't want to. I'll save it for the green room. But I love that place. I love it. It's such a shithole. It is a shithole. I understand that. I love it. I love it. It's church. It's the asphalt in the parking lot. It is where I spent some amazing times.
You only love it
for
because
20
it's all
years.
you got.
That's fine, but it was ours. It was ours, and we had a group of guys who did it. Every week for
That I'm not
for
going to
many
argue
years.
with.
Yeah,
That part.
and we were in it together until we weren't. Until we decided that we can't be in this anymore for reasons that we all understand. And so we're getting back together to do it this week. And you know what the cool thing is I've been going to that stadium I have gone to that stadium for many a game, and multiple Thursday night Chicago games. Some of
I've been to one.
were you at the Todd Collins
Sean
one?
Taylor. I was at the Thursday night
The one that was like frigidly cold?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like 0.
Yes. We
It
had a
was
wall
terrible.
of snow. And we put our beers in the snow, and then we were playing Beirut, and the beer would freeze before we could throw the balls. We'd throw the ball in the cup, and it would bounce off the ice, and the beer would freeze. I had a headache from the cold. That was the second coldest
Sounds
game I've ever been
awful.
to.
I will tell you this. A year before I got married, we flew back that day from the Bahamas. We had to figure some shit out. We went down there. My aunt and uncle, my mom and dad, and I acted like I'm very fancy. Trust me. It was not very fancy at all. But we flew back that day. It was a Thursday morning. I got off the
That's
flight.
a crazy difference.
I got off the flight in shorts and a t-shirt just because I'm an idiot. Well, I mean, I wasn't outside
I'm saying
long.
you'll catch a
but
shiver.
We
You'll
had,
catch a
but we had
shiver,
tickets
son.
that night. My sister picked us up. We went to our house, unpacked everything, just started getting after it,
Put on all
and
your
went
clothes.
to the game. Never one day of my life have I been in 2 different temperatures. I was in 91 degrees and I was in 9 degrees in the same afternoon, same day,
that's
one flight
awesome.
away, and it was remarkable. But it was very extremely
It was a brutal
emotional.
cold. That was a beating
and it
cold.
was a brutal.
And it was a big win.
Yes, it was.
It was a big win.
By the way, I'd been down there for the whole thing, reading everything in the Miami newspapers because that's what the Bahamas got. So I was getting the real deal Sean Taylor business, and that was, I mean, it was brutal. It was effing brutal. So I had to be there. Getting off the flight, I knew I had to be there. I
course.
wanted to be there. This is what we love. This is what we do. And just like you have to be there with your crew, with your guys, and how we all care about this. This is a huge week, and we cannot sleep on these assholes. We cannot.
I'm
going
to be doing my part. I know a lot of people will. F31, if anyone's going to be at the stadium for tailgating
What did
this
31
week.
do to you?
That's true. I appreciate that.
Okay.
F31 is the lot we're in, and check us out. We got a big. There's a big Regal Beagle tent. You can't miss it. It's burgundy and gold. It's a Regal Beagle. We're a Jack Tripper Threes Company fan club. And we got and the First Amendment Sports. The First Amendment
Great
Sports. Threes Company's legendary. So Lance,
If I was there, I'd be in the Chrissy section. Just
you
always
would.
wanted to let that.
I'll be in
one.
the Chrissy section
I'll be in
too.
the Terry section.
No, I'm Chrissy
I know
till
that
I
about
die.
T. That's why I threw it out there.
I don't know if I've met any Janet section people, but
Well, her haircut was very interesting.
yeah, it was. But and she went, and her brawlessness was
I mean, I wouldn't
a thing.
Fortuitous.
brawl over
Yes.
her to get to you. So
I understand. But if there'll be 2 tents, there'll be a First Amendment Sports tent
Too much crawling.
and a Regal Beagle tent. Check it out if you're there. F31 would love to see you. All right, I'll tell you what. Final score predictions. We'll start with T.
31-17, good guys.
Damn, I was going to say 31-17 good guys. So I'm saying it because that's just what popped into my head. I hadn't thought about it once all week. Sorry, me and T are together on this one.
Okay.
Do I need to change it for any
No,
other reason?
you do not.
Because that's exact. I just said, I think it'd be like 30-something, 31-17.
41-13.
Oof.
You heard it here first. We're going away from these mofos.
Please put Ken Harris's up there.
I'm going to put it right there. Ken Harris, you are not a Mrs. Roper guy, but I also appreciate.
That's pretty damn funny.
You know what? How many seasons do you think
pretty funny.
Three's Company went? Just throw a number out.
Seasons?
7.
How many seasons? 7?
I'd say.
It's more than you think.
I'd say.
I thought 7 was covering
I'd say
that.
Seven-
11.
It's not 11. It's not 11. I think it's like 8 or 9. But it's like, when you think about it, you think like, so Christy was there for like, what, 2 seasons? Maybe
For a
3?
long time.
No, she got out of there. There was a whole big thing.
But it was longer than 2 or 3, I think. I want to say she was there for like a good solid 4.
Well, I know
5.
who knows. I know Ken Harris knows. No way. No chance she was there for 5. I don't think she was there for 4. I think, but they because they like had like a whole thing where they fought and Chrissy needed money and you just got to give Chrissy the money, all the monies. She gets all the monies.
I don't know how much monies I would have had in the 70s, but she would have gotten
She would have gotten them
all the monies.
All the monies. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna close out the show. We appreciate people hanging out with us all night long. We're going to give you a little something extra tonight, a little overtime, if you will. Since the game went to overtime, we go to overtime. How about that? I'm going to throw up a blank board. Here's how we're going to do. Now, we decided last week that we were going to do a draft. We're going to continue to do drafts. And I have an interesting idea for next week's draft, and I want to throw it out there right now because I know we have some old school
Do it
folks
while
on
we
board.
remember.
We got Ken Harris and Robert Cohen and Greg Martin. And I know our guys. I know EO is going to watch. I know Man Nerf Speaking is going to watch. I know Rhett's going to be in the house. Here's what I think we should do. Come up with 4 categories, 1 round each. like music, TV show, movies, something. And we give the board the chance to vote on each. So the board is going to draft what they think our answer would be, right? So the people who've been hanging out with us for 3 or 4 years, we're going to give them the power to decide what they think we would like. Oh, you're going to get some great answers, T. I already know. But this is a total T setup, obviously.
Ken Harris is going to nail me, right?
We're going to love what people think T would vote for.
5 with Chrissy. I knew it. My insides knew it. 5 with Chrissy.
It's 5 with Chrissy? Damn it.
Ha!
All right, fair enough.
I said
All
4.
I'll give you. Whatever. I mean, I'm wrong.
I like this idea. I like how.
I want to give the board a chance.
Let the board tell us how well they know our
Yes, you get to decide
discrepancies.
what we would say on it. So everyone who shows up next week, you're going to get a chance to
our level
to
of
vote
filth,
for the board. Yes,
our level of moralities.
We're going to throw out some categories. We're going to do 4 rounds, 4 different topics, and the board gets to decide what they think we would say for those, and then we get to obviously laugh.
We better beat Chicago for pulling some shit like this off next week. Just say it.
We better beat Chicago.
Yeah.
All right, we were going to do a teacher draft this week. I'm preparing my teacher board, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This seems familiar. I feel like I've done this before. Recently. Turns out I had.
In the year 2023.
On February 21st, we did a
I
teacher
was
draft.
not here.
He was not here.
So I'm exempt.
I went back and watched that
I have
show.
partial recall.
There's a reason why we have partial recall. So what I've done
on
is
the nights
this.
that I'm not here, these two tend to go through
I'm throwing up a blue board.
more than one bottle.
I've created a
Why is that?
mosaic of teachers
We
and
have to say
principals
more, I think.
from TV and movies. Board can throw them out. You guys can throw them out. There's a little bit of a delay, so we're going to give the board a chance to catch up here for a second. If you say it, I'm going to throw it up there. I might have 15 to 20 people up there. Teachers, principals, TV and movies. The board, as soon as the board says a name, I'm going to start, we'll start going. And I know them all, so I'm not going to participate, but you guys can. These are going to be guys that we drafted previously, not 7 months ago.
I bet I have one that you don't have.
In a teacher draft. Okay. Robert Cohen, who was, by the way, in the draft. Robert Cohen, who drafted on the board. He went first. And
Robert just went back to his notebook.
He
Yes.
did. He said
Yes.
the draft's so nice.
Right here.
We had to do it twice.
Yes. So, all right. So he went first. So he's right. Feeney was, in fact, a guy who was drafted the night we had a teacher principal draft.
I left him off because I didn't watch that show.
We remember very well. I watched it like a couple of times, but he's also famous. All right, Skinner.
Yeah, he
The
is.
board is coming up with Skinner. Obviously, Seymour Skinner,
Of course.
was a quick draft. Here,
I
he
didn't write
is.
him down because Ken always drafts all cartoons. And
I love cartoons.
I know.
I love
How could
cartoons.
the number one? Can I say one?
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, how could you not go with Gabe Cotter?
Mr. Cotter was not involved in that night.
How?
What?
He
What?
had to have been.
He wasn't.
Really?
He wasn't.
That was my number one.
Mr.
number one.
Cotter.
Oh.
Oh, Jay
Welcome
Dubs comes in
back.
with one of the top draft picks of that night. I
Yeah.
believe it was Ed Rooney. Ed Rooney on the board.
Of course.
So we have Skinner, Ed Rooney, Feeney. Who else is still alive? You guys, by the way, feel free to fire away.
All right, I'm going to throw
Oh, we
mine
got
out
our
there.
first
Yes.
three.
Sherman Clump, Professor Clump, sir.
I did not get the picture of him.
I didn't
and
think
I
of
looked
Because
for
I
it.
had him in my.
That's
I
a
thought he was
great
one of
one.
my top picks.
You
right?
drafted him. You drafted
Yeah.
him number
I never
3 or
even
I'm a
whatever.
big
thought
fan
about
of Sherman, but
You should be.
No
Yeah,
Krabappel.
I love that movie.
Yes.
I watched it,
Krabappel.
man. Hercules.
I did-
Hercules.
Yes.
My little Hercules.
All right.
Fabulous.
Mr. Garrison absolutely
Yeah.
was picked. Let's see. Let me get there. Mrs.
That's a
Krabappel was
great
not
one.
picked, but she was the picture of on the show. That's how I remembered. I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure we did this because I remember there's Mr. Garrison, and by the way, Mr. Hat, who I called Mr. Hand.
Well, that's where
But
I'm
Mr.
going.
Hand
Mr. Hand is the next one I was going to
Is
say.
different.
Mr. Hand is
yeah,
different.
yeah,
Fast
yeah.
Times at Richmond High.
And he's not on here, but
You're gotta be kidding me.
we talked about
Well,
him, but we did not draft him.
Yeah, it was.
It was a thing about Mr. Hat.
How could you have not drafted Mr.
All right,
Hand?
so I'm going to throw out Miss Veronica Vaughn.
Miss Veronica Vaughn.
Who's
So hot. Want
Billy
to
Madison,
touch the
Pete
hiney.
Sampras' wife.
Billy
There she is.
Madison.
Mrs.
Want to
Sampras.
touch the
Hiney. Dad, Veronica Vaughn. She's one hot piece of bad. Principal Lewis from American Dad is hilarious. I don't disagree with you, Greg. He was not in our draft or part of our. And by the way, Greg, you were freaking drafting. By the way, you should. Greg's like guessing right now. Greg, you were one of the ones who drafted. It was Greg.
To be fair, Greg has partial recall as well.
Ken Harris threw out John Keating from Goodwill Hunting, I believe.
Dead Poet Society.
Dead Poets is John Keating. Because I'm a Sean McGuire guy from Goodwill Hunting.
Right,
John Keating is...
Sorry, my bad. The reason why I said that is because we have them both.
Sorry, Sean. Yeah, Sean McGuire was...
So Sean McGuire is going on there, and so is John Keating. There you go.
Two great choices.
Bam.
If you're getting a little serious, Joe Lewis Clark.
All right, so he is
he's a great
absolutely
call. That was a great,
on there. There he is.
Me.
Mr. Clark involved. Yeah, and there was a lot of pictures to pick, but you had to have the bullhorn, and you had to have the covering his face with his hat. That was a great scene.
Do you have Mr. Cooper from Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
No, I don't.
Dang it.
I don't have Mr. Cooper.
That's it. No, that's you shouldn't. But he did guard Charles Barkley in the episode I remember the most.
He D'd him up.
I don't think so.
Dude, Robert Cohen, way to go with Mr. Feeney. You let us off. All right, yeah, there you go.
Dewey Finn.
Dewey Finn is absolutely involved. There he is. Bam, Dewey involved.
I've never seen that
Come
whole
on,
movie.
Robert Cohen. You got some more. Mr. Clark, we already got Mr. Clark in there. So
How about-
as you
how
can
about-
tell by the blank spaces on this page, we have quite a few to go.
Do you have Richard Vernon?
You mean this guy? Bam. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. There he is.
Man. There's only a couple out there that I have I don't think we said it.
Well, there's a couple here that like Greg drafted and that Rob Cohen drafted.
Professor Dave Jennings?
No.
Animal House? We don't get
Professor King, what is that? Sutherland?
yes.
Donald Sutherland.
Yes.
If I had a picture of him reaching to the top
That's a
shelf
good
of
call
in the
right
kitchen with his little
That's a good call.
behind.
You
It's kind of a gross character, but
You don't have him, right?
No, don't. I don't have Professor
Well, the
Kingsfield
principal
either.
from Animal House too.
The dean.
Dean Wormer.
Dean Wormer.
0.0. No, we don't
No.
like deans. They used to be teachers, but now they're dicks.
I have at least two more that you were all about after watching the show.
So,
Oh, Ken Harris got it. Ken Harris got
yes.
a big one.
Well,
Mr. Miyagi.
That's
he's on
Ken
there.
got
He's
it.
on there.
And then, can I say the other one?
Yeah, what do you got?
Was it Dr. Jones, Indiana Jones?
Oh, that was your number one
Yep,
pick.
got him
Number one in the hood. Where is he at? Where's Indy? There he
He's
is.
just a cool guy, man. We talked
There he
about
is.
the girl blinking her eyes. I love you.
Helen Crump. By the way,
That's nice.
I made the mistake of I did not get a picture of Helen Crump. Robert Cohen drafted Helen Crump from the Andy Griffith Show, and Kevin went from 6 to midnight immediately upon hearing the name Helen Crump, which I respected.
I mean, listen.
And I believe your quote was, he's something like he stole her or something along the lines of that.
I don't really
He
trouble.
locked that up, something like that.
Just say it.
He did lock it up.
Lock it up. Ken Harris. I already locked up Sherman Klump. It's a great, I love it. It's such a great movie.
How about
And
Mr.
Helen Crump, Sherman Klump.
What do you got?
Mr. Strickland? Back to the
Oh, by the way, he made it onto the
Nice.
mosaic. That's a great pull.
All right. Well, no one said Mr. Belding yet, and I know
Oh.
he was up
Oh,
in
He's
the
right
mix,
there.
there.
Mr.
We
Belding's
already
in.
said Mr. Belding.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no one did. I just threw him up there for you.
That's a good one.
You said it. There's
And I know there's one more I went with, and I'm not sure
Yep.
which character I went, but I've changed my favorite character in the show, so I'm just going to say it out loud.
Yep.
I'm now a bigger fan of Principal Ava Coleman from Abbott Elementary.
she's
What
there.
the hell is that?
It's a new show. It's out now. My wife
Oh.
watches it every week. She loves it. It's a cool show. It's about a Philadelphia public school. It just has all the same teacher shit. Teachers enjoy it because there's
Yep.
a lot of reality involved in this show. She's an Eagles fan, but she's like a side
do it.
hustler, smuggler, whatever. She caught the superintendent cheating, and she said, "I want to be the principal." She didn't even know how to be the principal, but she's in a
She's
position
the
of
principal
strength,
now.
and that's the basis of her character. And she's a Philly lady, and she's pretty tough. It's a pretty cool show.
Should have had Walter White, Ken. You're 100% correct, but I did not. We have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Really?
about
5,
Bueller?
6. 6 more. Oh, yeah.
Bueller?
Gotta have that.
Bam. There he is.
Bueller.
I remember that.
Did you know that his character does not have a name?
It does not have a name.
It is the economics teacher.
I read that, but I just figured he had a name.
I So did I.
Miss Frizzle did not
I had
make
to
the
look it
cut,
up.
Robert Cohen, but she should have. I saw her
Reading
on a number of
Rainbow?
lists. No, she was
Bus, Magic
Bus.
School Bus. Yeah, I
she
knew it was one
Magic
of those.
Bus.
I had her in your cartoon side.
Here's one I know you're not going to get, and I'll throw it up there. It's Dean Pelton from Community. I know Community is one of those like cult type shows.
I like the show, but I didn't watch
saw
it
it
like religiously.
sparingly.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a huge.
I liked it.
It's up there for me. It's
a good show.
His character was insane. But there's a character. There's a guy that Greg Martin drafted that he's not saying. And in fact, there's two people that Greg Martin drafted that remain outstanding on this list. And there's one person that you drafted. And then there's and then here's I'll give you a hint. There's one very famous character. The actor that played him just passed away within the last week and a half. And it's a major movie franchise, beloved, huge book series.
Dumbledore.
There he is. Yeah, he gets in there. But Kev, there's a big one that you drafted.
Big one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is it Professor X?
No,
Dang.
it's old school,
I was a big fan.
Professor
and it
X
takes
is
you
on
back
my
to your
list.
roots on the hardwood.
Oh, the White Shadow.
Bam. There he is. White Shadow. Right there.
It was a great show, man.
All for you.
I was
Was he-
really young.
Was he a
But-
teacher?
He was a teacher and a coach.
2 movies, Greg. 2 movies. You're the
'Cause
last
that's
2.
why I didn't.
You're the last
I
2.
didn't include Friday Night Lights coach.
I only have 2 left on my list. Can I say them?
You can say them.
All right. I have a substitute teacher in here.
Oh, substitute.
Teacher's a teacher.
Movie or TV?
New School TV.
Jessica Day?
New School right now, present right now, in pop culture ish. A couple years old, but still relevant.
What do you got?
Ron.
Oh, Mr. Garvey.
You got it. Key and Peele.
Mr. Garvey.
I had him in
Actually,
there.
he was on my list, and T got here, and I choked. I had there's Mr. Garvey, and it was Mr. Garvey, and there was one other person that didn't get in that should have got. And Sherman Klump. It was Sherman Klump and Mr. Garvey. I couldn't get him in.
Hercules.
It is not a Duma.
I got
you have him?
Kindergarten Cop, of course.
John
All right, so-
Keating, Detective John Keating.
There's
Did
2
you have him?
left. They're both drafted by Greg Martin. One was a major movie franchise. When he drafted him, we were all like, whoa. And we compared this character to Mr. Miyagi. Not a classroom teacher.
Yoda.
Correct. Correct.
Partial
That's a great
recall
one.
is an amazing thing in this
Yoda's
brain.
great.
I don't even know. Why would that clue
There
give
he
me
goes.
Yoda? That's amazing.
All right, so the last one's going to be really hard. Ken Harris, Norman Dale, great answer.
Yeah, that is
Should
a great
be on
answer.
there.
I thought about that and I didn't write it down. Can I say
Oh,
my other
man.
one?
Yeah.
And I want you guys to know if you know who it is.
Yep.
Mrs. Othmar.
Mrs.
Mrs. Othmar. Othmar. Board, chime in if you can. Mrs. Othmar.
Give me a hint.
It taught me everything
TV
I
or
needed to
movies?
know. TV
Damn it.
and comic. It went from comics to a television
Okay.
program, and it
Okay.
was a special, and it taught me everything I needed to know about my future in education.
All right. I like it.
Do you want to know who it is?
I
Yeah,
want
what
to.
is it?
Sorry. I want to know what it is.
It's the teacher from Charlie Brown.
Ooh.
Because that's what education sounded like to me for a long time.
All right,
God bless the teachers that
I
made
think I
it
have
sound
3
normal
that you
because
don't
you did
have
a
on
hell
there.
of a job.
All right, let's see if one of them was the one that Greg Martin drafted that he can't remember that he drafted. What do you got?
So there's the teacher in the Christmas
He
story.
doesn't think he drafted Yoda.
You drafted Yoda.
The teacher in
Okay.
a Christmas story.
Okay.
A plus.
Oh, yeah.
A plus.
Good,
A plus. The gym teacher in the Goldbergs.
So I took
don't-
him off my list due to it's like pre-draft shit. In 2020,
Did he touch someone?
accusationally.
Allegedly.
Didn't know that, but he's pretty good in the show.
It's great, and it's a great
Here's
show.
my last one,
It's
and
a great show,
here's
and
a
his
sneaky
brother's
one.
Bill Goldberg. So
Here's a sneaky one that I would have definitely, I think, drafted. Do you remember the movie Summer School?
Mark Harmon.
Shoop.
Mark Harmon. Yeah, great.
it was a great
pick.
movie.
Love the movie.
It was a great. Oh man,
Inspirational teacher. Obviously.
certain things were inspired. It's
Yeah.
true. That's
He was an
I
inspirational
never
teacher.
wanted to go to summer school so bad. after
me
that.
neither. I was like, that guy played quarterback at Florida State just like Burt Reynolds. And now he's teaching out west. It's awesome. Great guy.
It's like, man, Florida State, they must have sucked for a while. I can't believe, like, really? Like, that was who was playing quarterback for Florida State? Like,
That's pretty good.
short white guy? Oh, man. Sorry, Seminoles. Sorry, 40,000 super hot chicks who are looking for something a little bit better than a guy who like a Danny Warfel of whatever. How about this? Greg Martin, you drafted Mr. Kimball from Kindergarten Cop. That happened. That
I
happened.
called him out.
I didn't hear you. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear you.
Tom,
And-
yeah.
And I said, you have to have that one.
You got to have that one.
Yeah, well,
you
Greg
got to
did.
have that
Greg
one.
did.
Ooh-ah.
All right.
Get to the classroom.
I believe that's everyone we have. Oh, wait. No. Don't forget.
So what? You cannot walk.
Ah.
Oh no, wait.
And
That's
Listen,
don't
that's
forget.
what he
Listen.
said to me, right?
I'm going to tell you right now. I just got a text from Ken Harris. He wants to know if I have any recollection of Mrs. Roper teaching anything at any given time. So I don't.
No, she was a teacher. She taught.
Of life.
I knew she was very wise. I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't know if she was, certified.
She taught Mr.
Dude.
Roper a lot.
Here's the thing about Mrs. Roper that I think about sometimes.
What was underneath that moo
She
moo-moo?
only wore one piece drapes. Like it was just like a. I know you're thinking to yourself. I mean, it was just straight moo but it was like she never wore pants. She never wore. It was always just a.
Dude, I thought you were going to say
Cloth.
panties. Like, I thought you were going to say panties.
There's
for the
nothing.
first
She
time
doesn't
in
wear
the show.
panties. She doesn't wear anything. There's nothing going on underneath
You
there.
think she's turtle under
Bloomers.
there?
Oh yeah, she's 100% commando. 100% commando. She's ready to go at a drop of a
I
hat.
gotta tell you.
I'm going 80 I'm going 85%
48 years old
at best.
and never thought about it until now.
Oh, I always was wondering what was up.
Dude, she was.
What?
She was
What
ready
was underneath
to
that,
go.
that outfit was so expansive. There was so much room for hidden objects
She was hiding something.
or non-hidden objects.
Mr. Roper had no interest in what was being hidden, and I was always kind of like, all right, dude, like if you're not obviously you're not getting any from Chrissy. I mean, you're not getting any from Janet. You're not getting any from Jack, who, to your knowledge, is a gay dude who would otherwise potentially be in play.
Larry?
And you're not.
Larry!
By the way, Larry was totally getting involved. I think Larry and Mrs. Roper. There's no chance in the world that Larry never banged Mrs. Roper.
Yeah, that's fair.
He would have.
He did. He did. I think it's a fact. Let's just say it's a fact.
What?
He banged Mrs. Roper. That's 100% true.
I mean, hang your reputation on it, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to say Mr. Roper was in the vicinity.
He was there. He was. I mean, he was the.
It was a free time out west those days.
He really.
Ken Harris is he's jealous.
He was the first. He was the world's first cuck. Mr. Roper was the first cuck.
Man,
Just throwing it
you're
out there.
getting awful.
Sorry. Listen. I told you it's overtime.
How dare you besmirch Mr. Roper's fine standing name? Mr. Furley would never have it.
Mr. Furley, by the way, would never have it. There was no chance Mr. Furley would have it. Mr. Roper, on the other hand,
How about
I
Furley
did
and Aunt B?
I liked Furley.
oh yeah,
Aunt
I
May?
liked Furley more
Aunt
than
B.
Roper.
Aunt B.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think Furley could. I
Furley
think
or Roper?
I'm a Roper guy.
I'm a
Furley
Furley.
or
I'm
He
a
reminded me
Furley.
of Michael Jack.
Furley, I liked it.
I'm a Furley guy.
I like Furley.
But it's great. But you know what? It's the kind of show where the whole premise obviously revolves around a landlord and tenants in an apartment building. The Ropers were great, and Jack and Chrissy and Janet were great in the first couple of years. But like, I love Don Knotts. I love Don Knotts more than anything else. So when he became when Mr. Furley was there, everything obviously hinged on Jack Tripper. I mean, he was the guy. And they made it go, and they even spun it off. They spun him off into his own show.
It was all about Chrissy for me.
Chrissy was number one. It was like at any given time, always remember thinking like, you're gonna be able to see a nipple here at some point. Just
I always remember thinking,
just keep watching.
Nobody else looks like this. I've never seen anybody else look like this. Like
Yeah.
the bright blonde
No
hair,
brawl, just bouncing around.
So I was not
Short
so it was
shorts.
always taboo. I was not allowed to watch.
Me neither.
MTV, Married with Children, and specifically,
Dude,
specifically
our parents
Three's
talked.
Company.
My
Our
wife
parents
was not
talked.
allowed to watch it either. I find it so hilarious.
never allowed. My mom walked in. I was watching it, and she was like, "Get up, get out of here." I was like, "Gonna need a minute."
Give me a second. You can turn the TV off.
It was always
Just
awkward
turn
for a
the
while.
TV
All
off.
right, then there was a grace period.
Give me
but,
a gun, give me a
I was
second.
still in trouble.
Best TV neighbor
Still
draft.
in trouble.
That's the best offer we've had
That's a great one.
of the night, and that's what we're gonna do next week.
a great
The
one.
best TV neighbor
It's done.
draft.
It has been written.
Best
It's
TV
happening.
neighbor draft.
Best TV neighbor.
This could get crazy.
Yes.
This could be great.
Okay.
Do your homework.
Don't say anything.
Don't act like you didn't watch TV for the last 30 years and you don't know about
TV
neighbors.
neighbor.
TV
neighbors.
specifically, right?
TV specifically.
Nice.
Not
I like
books,
that.
not movies.
Like
TV.
it. TV specific
Correct.
neighbor draft. That's great.
It's a great.
That's just a great.
There you go. Give him the credit. Greg Martin with the question mark. You've asked a question and the answer is
So
yes.
is the whole 4 category thing still happening?
We're gonna push that.
We'll push Foursquare, and I
We're gonna
like
push
the
Foursquare.
idea.
Yeah, we're gonna push it. We're gonna push that. I'm getting them. I'm prepping some folks. I wanted to do that because I think it'd be fun, mostly to see what people draft for you.
You know, I've always seen you as a prepper.
I'm a prepper. Obviously, you've been in my basement. I mean, we could last down here for hours in an emergency.
I know this.
Maybe minutes.
I could read anything down here for days. It's the lighting is
The lighting
specific.
is excellent. Yes, obviously. If we were to have to hunker down in place, the whiskey and high noons would last us hopefully long enough to make it to safety.
What happens on Monday? I feel like this always starts on a
If
Friday.
they don't save us by Monday,
Right.
we're done.
That's fair.
We'll be back in 1 week. That Tuesday night will represent a long break from the last time we'll have watched our team play, but we'll have had a chance to watch our guys play on Thursday night. A big week in the NFC East. I think there's some pretty big matchups. I know Dallas played San Francisco. Let's go 49ers. Who did the Eagles play? The Eagles play someone big as well. And I'm not going to be able to pull it. Maybe someone else on the board can pull it before we leave. But until next Tuesday night, he is Tim Strachan.
Let's take down the Bears.
The Bears. He's Kevin Ricca.
Honestly, just get out there. Everyone deserves this Thursday night primetime win properly. It's overdue. Let's take care of this. The Vegas odds on 0-4 teams winning that 5th game. Let's just say the odds are in our favor and momentum's in
They're
our
forever
favor.
in our
And we're the
favor.
better freaking team. Let's get out there and take care of our business. And let's have this fan base be able to celebrate properly and move forward to the next few weeks of winning. Let's go.
Hey, where are you going to be? The Knights?
I will. I'm working Thursday night.
Maybe that's.
Rams.
Well, let's go. If Ken and Brett are heading out to
over
the
Yeah, I mean, if
stadium.
these guys are getting together,
Right.
you and I might as well get
And
together.
then you guys have
And
to
if
stop
anybody
back
else
on
on
the
the
ride
board
home.
wants to
Just
go to the
saying.
Knights, hey.
Just, I mean,
and that's a
hang out
fact.
with us.
By the way, I might have to leave my truck there.
you should. And if you guys tell me you're going to do that, I will arrange for late night food. How about that?
Done.
All right.
Done and done. Because there's no tomorrow after that. So that Rhett, you down with that? Yeah, you're down with that. All right.
Yeah, it'll be his 4th ethnic meal of the afternoon. It'll be amazing.
Eagles have the Rams and the Giants have the Dolphins. Thank you, board.
Oh my God, the Giants and the Dolphins could be well worth Sunday.
I'll
I hope
watch-
it's on national.
I hope
we
it's
get
on
it.
national
I do
TV too. God, it could be a 95-point game. The Dolphins could literally they're starting right now. They could be scoring already on the Giants. It is for all the people who thought the Giants are going to be competitive this year. We try to tell you. We try to tell you they're trash. We try to tell you at the beginning of the season they're trash. They're straight trash.
Poor Daniel, son.
God, everything.
Maybe now's not the time to bring on our friend from the Giants.
A friend from the Giants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. He's a very nice man.
No, we are going to have a guest from the Giants
Eventually,
at some point.
He's the highest paid trainer in the universe.
Because
and
he's a good
one of
friend
the
of
greatest
ours,
men in the NFL.
Yes.
and the most well respected guy.
Now might
it's
not
not
be.
fun. It's not fun in that building right now. It's like the opposite of fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't.
Oh.
It's so bad. So bad.
Oh, they're about to just pull the plug.
How bad was it the way that Dabo threw the tablet after talking with?
That was with
Daniel.
Daniel Jones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see Dabo like?
He just, the way he walked away was like
Well,
oh my God, that was
interestingly,
bad.
we've been saying it for months that Caleb Williams is going to either decide to make more money playing for USC for another year or enter the NFL and start getting paid professional money. And we said he was going to Elway it or Eli it, whatever you choose, which way you want to do that. He's going to strong arm his destination. Some Twitter account threw out like 4 or 5 teams, the 49ers, and blah, blah, blah,
erroneous,
blah, blah, blah.
gigantic bullshit.
Totally terrible. But the funniest thing
We know
about
how
it
that
is
family operates. This is not how they operate.
That's not
None of it makes any sense. Now, the premise does.
The truth is,
the premise does.
He will say, "I'll play there, but I will not play there." I 100% agree with that.
Sure.
But the fact that the Giants are on this list, I'm like, yeah, the Giants aren't on that list. Like, there's no way. Like, someone tried to say the Giants were on their list. I'm like, the Giants aren't on their list. He's not playing for that.
They are because of the
well, first
endorsement.
of all, they just gave
endorsement
They just gave Daniel Jones
Which
$40
is the
million
only reason
a
why
year.
Eli went there.
That they cannot pay another quarterback for the next 3 years.
They're screwed. There's
Now
no
they can
way.
have him on the roster, but who's going to take Daniel Jones?
They're going to have to convince them. They have to in that trade. They're going to be like, listen, we want to move up for that pick.
He never sweats after 3
What if
p.m.
24 fumbles in his career.
What if we give you Daniel Jones
He's an extremely
24
and
fumbles.
1,000
he's
first
a
round
very
picks?
he's a very nice man.
Great singing voice.
He donates to all charities.
Super amazing personal hygiene.
Hung like a
And he's
horse.
super fast when he plays against the Washington football team.
Oh,
Have
have you ever seen him beat the Commanders, sir?
Let me point you in the
41
direction.
million.
Yes.
41 million.
This guy, we're going to schedule a couple extra Commanders games for you for this year. We're going to get him on the schedule like 5 times just for you, Caleb. All
He's very
right.
flexible for autograph signings.
We appreciate hanging out with us on a Tuesday night. We'll be back in 1 week from now. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I am Ken Marangola. This was Thank God It's Tuesday. We'll see you in 7 days. We're still live. Get a little. That's some good ice sounds. Caleb Williams makes more money than Trevor Lawrence. That's what Ken Harris says. I don't think that's impossible. I don't think it's impossible that he could make more money next year than he would make in year 1 of a rookie deal. In fact, I would say it's
Easily.
1,000%.
Oh, it's fine, but the NFL money in the next decade versus
You want to get into your career,
right.
so you want to get to that second contract.
You have to get there. That's why a lot of these guys leave so soon. They're like, let me get in that contract. It's an NBA deal.
You want to get in.
Let me get there.
Get on the roller coaster.
That second contract is when you pay everyone in your family what you think you can. That's when the dreams are made.
But can I ask you this, Kev? What if he makes so he's making that money now. He's gonna make if he played next year, he could literally make like $10 to $15 million playing college football.
Of course.
That's
Then what happens the next
That's
year is it's
generational.
still the same shitty 5 ready to draft.
but you already have $15 million in the bank
Fine.
for life.
Fine.
You're never
That's
worried
great.
about money again forever.
But here's the deal. They're not worried about money. If you have a condo overlooking Gonzaga's home football stadium as a sophomore in high school, your dad's already done it right.
Yes.
And money isn't
Yes.
exactly the best. Now, how much do you want? That's up to you. But if you want to be in a comfortable situation and you can really, really emphasize your earning power, it's not at one of these shitty 5 the following year just because you already got 15 in the bank. That's all I'm saying.
SoCal.
I think they're more future
What if
people
he got $10 million?
than right now this year people.
What if someone said, "I will pay you $10 million to play SoCal one more year"? $10
I
million.
think there's probably 10,000 offers he has of $10 million to do something somewhere, some way.
I mean,
He's going to do the right thing, the
Yeah.
right way, the classy way. He's going to investigate all
I
options.
understand.
His dad's going to be a meticulous freak, just like we all know he is.
Yep.
In the best way possible. I'm not saying that's bullshit. I would love to do that for my son if he was the greatest quarterback, arguably, that has been alive in the last 10 years of this new football. The way new football's gone, if he's not a prototype, I don't know what is.
no, he
Until
is,
they have a
he is
6'4"
good enough.
version of him,
He
then
is
shit.
absolutely as good as anyone who's ever had the power to do what he's about to do. He has the power.
Right now in this
He's good
game, yes.
So the league,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's the league decides if you're good enough to get away with it. I think he's good enough to get away with it. Just imagine
He's going to get all the monies.
he's gonna get all the monies no matter how it works.
God
I mean,
damn, he's fun as shit to watch, too.
but I guess it comes down to is there a situation so bad in the NFL? Are there multiple situations so bad in the NFL where you'd say you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna take $10 million to play football in SoCal and hang out with these chicks for another year?
Unfortunately, the other dude that's getting $6 million is a 5-star #1 prospect.
know.
Who I'm sure didn't think he'd be sitting on anyone's bench for 1 second at any time ever.
That's right.
So
Lincoln Riley figures that part out.
he does.
Right.
But that guy's going somewhere else if Caleb stays. That's a fact. So Lincoln will just have to go get another
100%.
one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Make your own choose
next
for
year.
him.
All right.
I don't
So
think he has a problem doing that.
and he doesn't at all because no one's ever done this the way he's done it. No one's ever had 3.
It's unbelievable.
And by the way, calling this Good Counsel game this week, 3 teams in the country have 4 recruits in the top 50. Good Counsel is one of them.
Dylan Jones.
4.
Yes.
Top 250 recruits in the nation in the senior class.
Offensive lineman? No, wait. Who's the other one? Not Dylan Jones. Who's the other guy?
Fahim Delan.
Fahim Delan,
Safety
yes.
is a monster. He's the
Yes,
number
yes,
one
yes.
dude. They have a defensive end tackle, 6'7", 250. Clemson commit that we haven't covered yet because he just transferred on in.
We'll be live. We're gonna close it out. We're still live.
Still live?
Anyone who's still listening, check us out on Saturday. Big game, St. John's Good Counsel. A lot of high school players that will be playing at least on Saturdays. There's definitely some Sunday players out
12
there.
Power 5 scholarships,
Yeah.
and
I'd say there's a handful
maybe a
of possible
dozen more
Sundays.
as underclassmen. And
Yeah.
there's no doubt that the over/under on pros in this game is 1.5 to 2.
Oh, I'll take the over on that all day.
I know, but I'm just saying a lot of stuff can happen in life.
Yeah, I think the running back for Good Counsel is a Sunday player. I think that the safety
He's going
for
to
Good Counsel is a
Wisconsin.
Sunday player, and I think that that you could easily find a third guy, if not a fourth. But you're right; it's a ludicrous thing.
And Kyle Altuner heading to West Virginia, who signed 2 years
Yes.
ago, is making $175,000 in NIL money.
Good for him.
Yeah, they don't have him in that top 4, but he's right there. So they got 5 dudes that will be massive game changers.
And 2
at the
coaches that
Power
we love
5
dearly.
level.
2 coaches that we think
Yeah.
super highly
Hell
of
yes.
and think are good men. All right, we'll see you boys next week.
Peace.